to watch a minor league football team for another year, apparently. So, yeah, all's right in the world. Welcome into this Football Friday here on Three Man Front. Coach Wimp Sanderson will join us at the bottom of the hour. Barrett Sallee. We'll talk to the voice of the Baylor Bears. We'll get a preview of the Auburn game, which is 1 week away. 1 week from today. Auburn will be in Waco, Texas, taking on the Baylor Bears. We'll also talk to Mike Rodak, our Friday visit with the one of the main writers at Bama 247, and Kyle Parmalee, who was on the show earlier this week. We'll talk some high school football. There was some high school games last night across the state, including Thompson, a big win. Pike Road got a win against Prattville. So, yeah, there was a lot of games last night that we'll go over with Kyle and a preview of what's going on. Landrum is going to be up at Sparkman tonight up in the Huntsville area as Spain Park, the Jags, will open up there. I understand. Who's Mountain Brook got tonight at home?
We are hosting Demopolis.
Molly and I, we will be in Trussville tonight as Jag from Montgomery will be in town taking on the Huskies tonight. So it is here.
Formerly Jeff Davis, right?
I believe that's correct.
Okay.
There's a lot of changes.
A lot of merging of.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot of schools have merged. A lot of schools, a couple schools in Montgomery, I think, opened over the last few years. Some name changes. So
Jeff Davis was powerhouse back in my high school days.
Yeah, sure
was.
They
were, and beyond that, and
sure
before
was.
that.
The big news this morning locally for the third day in a row. I mean, hats off to the Stallions because we're actually talking about the UFL for the third day in a row as we start the show. This morning on Mac and Cube, the new billionaire investor, Mike Rodak, he was on their show and he came out and he said that the Birmingham Stallions will be playing in March here in Birmingham. So there you go.
Interesting way to go about it. I guess what would you say? Scare tactics? Is that how you would define?
Are you asking me how I would define it?
No, yeah. How would you define what he?
Do you really want me to say what I think it was?
Let me say this first. The way that this message, look, he got it accomplished. If he was trying to get awareness about and gauge where maybe Birmingham was, I guess he got the reaction that he wanted. It's not the way that I would have gone about it. I don't know how many people in Birmingham that were Stallions fans maybe appreciated it. Well, I guess we'll see in the spring when wherever they're playing. I'm guessing it's going to be Protective Stadium, and when the games kick off. But yeah, we get it for another year. That's good.
Yep. And he said in the interview that I think it made it sound like during the interview that he
kind of went away.
Yeah, it was just, hey, I was just having some fun. Birmingham. I guess he got his answer.
He did. He was very complimentary of the market.
Which he was.
Should be.
As we have told you the last 2 days, we have been, and I know a lot of people have tweeted at us in the last, and we have been completely honest with the audience from the get-go, and I want to tell everyone what took place yesterday, because a lot of people have been like, well, why didn't you guys just put him on between 12 and 3 yesterday? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Well, I'll tell you why. And I'm speaking for myself, and my other teammates can join in if I am telling something that is not correct. But we were given the opportunity potentially of having him back on the show at some juncture during the show, but we didn't know when. I had been tipped off that the SEC 9-game schedule was going to happen yesterday. So based on the information that I had that the SEC schedule was going to change, that was going to be a bigger story than talking about the UFL or potentially having someone on this radio show that had already blown off 2 scheduled interviews beforehand. So it was an editorial decision that once we decided and heard the news and we felt very confident that schedule was going to change, what did we do in the 1 o'clock hour? We spent the entire 1 o'clock hour talking about a 9-game SEC schedule, and then the commissioner made it official later on in the afternoon during the Paul Feinbaum show. So they also offered us an opportunity to talk to Rapoli next week. So that kind of also hinted to me that if you're offering him up for next week, that means that there's no ultimatum in Birmingham, because why would a guy come on the radio show a week later and say, oh, yeah, by the way, you guys failed. We're taking the team elsewhere. So just wanted to be completely honest with everybody because we have been. Have I said anything that was inaccurate? Okay. All my teammates are shaking their head. No. So that's what happened yesterday. We have, as we said yesterday, we'd love to talk to him. But again, when somebody was already booked once and didn't show up, and then the day before somebody was supposed to be on, they didn't show up. Like, are we supposed to put everything else on hold for a league that had already showed disrespect twice? So I'm glad he came on the show this morning. I'm glad he cleared everything up. I'm happy that the Birmingham Stallions will be here. I was happy to hear him giving as much kudos and love to Skip Holtz because he should. Skip Holtz has done an outstanding job here in Birmingham, and I'm very happy that the team is here for another year. I've also had a lot of people reach out to me and tell me how sick they are to their stomach by listening to what he had to say during the interview. They feel like the whole thing was a stunt and a ruse. So we'll see. We'll see if there was enough damage done to where it would hurt this franchise moving forward, or people say, hey, it's football. I'll buy my tickets and I'll show up. So there you go.
Well said. Clear the air.
But again, I mean, to us and to our audience, not that it's not an important story, but I'm not going to be held. I'm going to speak for myself. I've done this for a long time. I'm not going to be held hostage by some organization that is obviously showing disrespect to this market. I'm not putting everything else on hold on this show so that they could or could not come on. So sorry, but SEC football, that's going to rule this show. And we're going to talk about SEC football. And once I was tipped off that was going to go down yesterday, we were not going to risk or roll the dice that just maybe he's going to show up for an interview that he had already dissed our morning show on. So glad he lived up to his responsibility this morning and he did the interview. Hooray. Good for him. So the Stallions are back. We move on. Yesterday afternoon on the Paul Feinbaum Show, Greg Sankey, he made it official as the SEC is going to the 9-game schedule moving forward. It's something that obviously we spent a great deal of time talking about yesterday. And once the commissioner said what he did, Landrum, I think it was pretty obvious that once the College Football Playoff Expansion Committee and once they said what they did in regards to that new metric, I think that changed everything in the conference in regards to the way they viewed it.
Yeah, the strength of record, the enhanced metrics that we talked about at length yesterday, it was announced, Pat. Yeah, it does. It's good for us as SEC fans. I've said it countless times. One of my favorite things about the pandemic was the 10-game SEC schedule and seeing those brands go up against one another. Will this potentially limit your non-conference games, some of those feature matchups like an Alabama, Ohio State, potentially a game like Auburn and Baylor in the future? Maybe. But this is what's going to overall be best. We keep talking about what's best for college football. What's best for the Southeastern Conference, right? And I think ultimately 9 games, it is best for the Southeastern Conference. It's going to pay dividends in a lot of ways. It's going to put more fannies in seats for maybe a game where it was a lettuce game. That's great for the economic impact it's going to have on those college campuses, surrounding communities and towns, but also for TV inventory. We know what that means. The TV dollars, more eyeballs are going to be watching some of those marquee matchups. That means more money, more revenue for the league as well. All in all, I love it. I absolutely love it. And when it comes to resume, and we're looking at potential resumes, College Football Playoff Committee selection time, this should help the SEC.
Very much so. So if you failed to read the complete release yesterday, basically you've got the 9-game SEC schedule. It will continue with a single standings format. So there's no divisions. They're not going back to that. Each school will play 3 annual opponents focused on maintaining the many traditional rivalries as you can. Each team's remaining 6 games will rotate among the remaining conference schools. Each team will face every other SEC program at least once every 2 years and every opponent home and away in 4 years. So you won't have this situation that we talked about yesterday where Texas A&M has been in the league since 2012 and Georgia has never stepped foot on Kyle Field.
Tennessee hasn't been in the state of Mississippi since 2014.
Right. So all that is going to change based on this new scheduling model. Also, one other item that they put in, which I think it's great, SEC teams are required to schedule at least one additional high-quality non-conference opponent from either the Atlantic Coast, Big Ten, Big 12, or Notre Dame. The SEC will continue to evaluate its policies to ensure the continued scheduling of high-quality non-conference opponents. And the reason they also put that in is they're also trying to save the rivalries with the ACC. They're trying to save the Florida State, the South Carolina, Clemson, Louisville, Kentucky, Georgia Tech. They're trying to save all of those by saying, okay, look, you play that one additional Power 4 game, and that would fit the bill, and they don't have to worry about going out and scheduling anybody else. You just play your rivalry games against the other conference opponents, and then you're good.
But can't you see in scheduling outside of the rivalry games that we get from the Floridas, the Florida States, the Clemsons, the South Carolinas, when it comes to Alabama and potentially scheduling a Ohio State for a future date, or maybe to a lesser degree Auburn and Baylor? We're not going to see as many of those. Teams are going to be very selective who they target from those certain conferences, I think, to qualify for that Power 4.
Well, there's one idea that you could do in regards to that scheduling is, let's say the Alabama-Ohio State series that's going to start in 27. Are they going to Columbus first, Conrad, and then Tuscaloosa, or is it vice versa?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I want to say they're going to Ohio State the first year and then in Tuscaloosa 2028.
Okay.
Because I know they also have West Virginia scheduled one of those years.
Okay. So for instance,
yeah, it's in Columbus the first game.
Since the Big Ten, they have more teams than the SEC, then what if you do on some form of rotation where X number of teams will play a Big Ten team as that 10th so-called power game, but the teams that have the Georgia Techs, the Florida States, they would not be on a more of a rotation because the Big Ten's got an odd number of teams.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that way, those teams can still maintain their rivalry games, but they don't show up on the Big Ten SEC cross-pollination part of the schedule, if that makes sense, without drawing it out on a piece of paper. So we'll see what happens there. It took 4 years for this to happen. 4 years. 4 years ago this month, they started conversation about a 9-game SEC conference schedule, and we have been up through peaks and valleys. They've kicked the can down the road numerous times that we thought that they were about to vote on it. We thought it was going to happen. It was on the 1 foot line. It was going to happen, and it didn't. And once the CFP made the call earlier this week about that little tweak in regards to that metric and the strength of schedule, that ultimately put everybody, said, you know what? I think this would be a good time. We'll be awarded for it. And they made it happen.
And it's not going to take long. It's going to take this season because it will happen ultimately, how many teams are involved in that. But the strength of schedule metric, whether we think it worked or it didn't, or whether it's being weighted more or less than we thought it would be.
Yeah. The SEC, as we have talked about before on this show, I've been told that it could be anywhere between $4 and $5 million per school that they will get from ESPN for playing that additional game. The shift to 9 also provides the league with the ability to sell tickets to another SEC game, to include such a game in a season ticket package, generate more sponsorships, which obviously will end up in the player's pocket because of NIL. And we just talked about the 9-game schedule would line up perfectly in regards to doing something with the Big Ten. Now all eyes will be on the ACC because the ACC is now the only conference left.
He said, Jim Phillips, we're good at 8.
But the problem with the ACC, and I wasn't a math major in college, but when you have 17 schools and you're trying to play 9 conference games, that is mathematically impossible. So with Notre Dame still like hanging out there, are you a conference member? Are you not a conference member? They're screwing the whole thing up again. If I was the ACC, I would say, look, it's time. It's either you're going to be all in with us or go to the Big Ten or do something else, because that scheduling alliance, it's honestly not helping the ACC. It's helping Notre Dame more than it's helping the ACC.
I know where you're coming from, but outside of Clemson maybe in a matchup or Florida State some years, I mean, Notre Dame, that's going to attract a lot of eyeballs to that conference and watching those specific teams. Outside of that, I think that's maybe that's the fear is your Your best commodity that you have that's not even really officially a member of your football league playing that pseudo schedule.
So On3 had a story this morning, and they asked an ACC representative yesterday about the SEC moving to 9 games. This is a direct quote. "We have the highest rated academic schools of any Power 4 conference. We'll figure it out." That sounds like that's like a Big Ten representative, not a representative of the ACC.
Are we competing in Scholars Bowl? That would come in handy there.
Very odd. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The ACC has, I was told last week the ACC had a conversation about moving to 9. So now that the SEC's moved to 9, we'll see if they move any closer. But they got that problem with 17 schools. To like how you make that work. That's trying to put a round peg in a square hole.
Well, Jim Phillips is a smart guy. He'll figure it out.
No, he is a smart guy. I'm not saying he's not, and I'm not saying that being a smart ass. I'm just, this is problem for them. And also, like there was someone from the Big Ten gave a quote. Of course, they didn't attribute their name, but the Big Ten says, "Okay, so what? The SEC moved to 9 games.
Oh,
that's not changing our idea of automatic qualifiers in the college football playoff."
Was not the whole point of the conversation?
we thought it was, Conrad.
Now, let me see if I can find that direct quote. Yeah, one Big Ten official told Yahoo Sports that while the SEC's move is a positive step, the league has more concerns, most notably related to the CFP selection committee's criteria of choosing what would be an 11 at-large teams. And as Greg Sankey told Paul Feinbaum yesterday, that the SEC's all in on a 5-11 format. And this person that spoke to Yahoo Sports says the league has, talking about the Big Ten, they have more concerns on how those 11 would be considered. So they're not backing off the automatic qualifiers.
Well, and they're mad because now the strength of schedule metric is, I guess, going to be more of a factor. They're just worried that the SEC will get more teams in than they will, and then they'll get their feelings hurt. That would be awful.
Yeah, so I don't know. As Paul said yesterday, Kirk Cignetti was slammed in the school locker yesterday afternoon by a senior football player. If you remember the days of, if any of you were bullied in high school, how somebody would throw your butt in the locker, that's what happened yesterday to Kirk Cignetti. To shut his stupid mouth up and to shut Goober in Champaign, Illinois, shut him up. All these criticisms of the SEC, what are they going to say now? Their whole script has been ripped apart and burned.
Yeah. I would have thought that you would have gotten a lot of applause, a lot of kumbayas.
Yeah, why didn't they come out and say, "Hey, about time, guys. Good job."
All right, now we can move forward now.
Yeah, no, they have more concerns about the 11 teams that's going to potentially be picked.
Well, they don't want to put too much work on the committee's plate.
Yeah.
They don't want them to have to work too hard.
So you're telling me they were using the SEC 9 game or the lack thereof schedule as just an excuse?
Seems to, based on the
point
quotes
there,
from Yahoo Sports. Yeah.
It's all a game to some people, isn't it?
It's all about motives.
I've not seen a quote from Kurt Cignetti. Have you guys? Has Belima said anything? I was just curious.
They're busy practicing.
We were at Jock's kickoff party last night, which, by the way, it was a great time.
It was awesome.
Appreciate everybody being patient. The weather was awful, but so many of you stuck it out, and it was great meeting.
Are the Barons still playing?
Out. Probably. They're probably playing a triple header today. But, all right, we have got a busy football Friday. Coach Sanderson's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Barrett Sallee, John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears, Mike Rodak. We'll have our first edition of Bet It or Forget It at 12:30. Kyle Parmley at 1. And as always, we would love to hear from you on the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. It's a football Friday. So nice to say that as we get ready to kick off the season tomorrow morning in Dublin. This is Three Man Front. It is 10:24 on this Football Friday. Did you find out what it was?
Crusade, no.
Yes.
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 Okay.
That's what it was.
Yes. Let's start one.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Oh man. The Auburn Tigers got some big news last night, and we told you that we were anticipating it happening, and it did. Last night at 7:00, the 5-star DB, the number 1 player in the state of Mississippi, one of the top players in the country, Braylon Womack from Flowood, Mississippi, he committed to Auburn last night. The Tigers are now up to number 22, according to the recruiting rankings on the On3 Rivals site. 247 now has Auburn at 35. So they have jumped dramatically over the course of the last few weeks.
What? I'm excited for him.
Conrad has emotional Tourette's.
I guess that's what that was.
Just out of nowhere.
I'm excited for
No,
Auburn.
you're not. You're being a smart aleck.
You really are. 13 commitments.
Yeah. And all this is happening with Don not in the country.
Yep. Stay on that cruise ship. Stay on international waters, wherever he is.
All kidding aside, a lot of people were asking about him last night.
They were.
So hated that he was not.
Sorry we couldn't link up with the Skype.
Yeah, we tried. We tried to. There was so much bad weather. We were trying to get him on the Jumbotron so we could say hello to him at Regions, but just did not work out. Hey, guys.
Hey, Barons fans.
It's Don. Coming
Your
to
buddy
you from
Don.
the Caribbean.
Oh.
So Auburn gets that good news last night. And tonight, Auburn will be participating in their final scrimmage of fall camp. It will be basically a dress rehearsal. As they woke up this morning, they're going through the whole game day routine that they're going to have in Waco, Texas next week. So we will find out. As most coaches will tell you, the hay is pretty much in the barn after the second scrimmage. The third one, you're just like crossing your fingers, hoping that nobody gets hurt. You know, kind of work on some things. So that's what Auburn will do tonight inside of Jordan-Hare Stadium. Meanwhile, Alabama on the practice field as we speak. It is a 9:40 practice. There is no media availability for the rest of the weekend. It is them practicing, and that is it. DeBoer will have his first weekly press conference at noon on Monday, as it'll be game week, as we get ready for Alabama and Florida State. Now, DeBoer yesterday, he did address a couple of things in his press conference, including who's the backup behind Ty Simpson. And he says, we really don't want to get into that. These guys are going to keep competing. So he did not give anything away in regards to that. He was asked about the running back pecking order in Tuscaloosa. He says each guy's got some tools, got some things they can do, just need them to stand out because there's kind of a log jam there.
Clever play on words, right?
Yeah.
You like that?
Log jam.
I thought you were referencing log, but then I realized you're talking about jam.
Jaden Roberts,
Correct.
The offensive lineman, he is still in concussion protocol, so he is not participating in activities. Meanwhile, defensive lineman James Smith, he was back at practice yesterday, so that's good for the defensive line. And DeBoer was asked, hey, what position group so far in the fall has really stood out to you? He said linebackers. I was not anticipating that. Thought the linebackers were already in.
You kind of already knew what you had with them?
Yeah.
Is he talking about the depth piece, though?
Yeah, he is.
See, I was about to say, I wonder if you factor in a Noah Carter, somebody like Rodney brought up the other day about how impressive he's been. So maybe just some young guys, like with Auburn, right? Young guys that have maybe taken a step up a little faster than
I feel like linebacker is definitely one of those position groups on every roster.
You can't have enough.
You can't have enough.
No.
Because we have seen both at Alabama and Auburn when injuries have struck. It is.
And you got a
been a
kid
problem.
where you're looking on the roster and beginning of the season, he didn't have a number.
Especially if you lose your signal caller.
Well, Alabama did last year with Lawson, yep.
Yep. So that's your Alabama and Auburn report as Auburn will scrimmage tonight. Bama will practice this morning. Bama will be back on the practice field tomorrow at 10:45. And then it'll be game week. First part of the week.
Woo! Love it.
Both teams.
Love it.
So we'll hear from DeBoer and Hugh Freeze on Monday.
Well, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com.
Coach Wimp Sanderson joins the show next. He better have that blue plate. He said this week blue plate or next week?
He said this week.
I thought he said this week.
If not, let's make him feel bad and put him on the spot.
Absolutely. We'll do that next. It is a football Friday here on Jox Three-Man Front. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad. Always a highlight of the week for us. Fridays at 10:30, brought to you by Craneworks. We get an opportunity to catch up with the old coach, and he better have himself a blue plate ready for us. Wimp Sanderson, brought to you by Craneworks.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Wimp Sanderson on Three-Man Front is brought to you by Craneworks. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dog's got it. And now, Wimp Sanderson.
I faced it all, and I stood tall, and did it my
Oh, Coach, we are finally here. Week 0. Almost 24 hours from now in Dublin, Ireland, football will kick off, and it will actually count. So
Blue
give me
plate,
a blue plate.
blue plate.
What you got?
I'm going to give it to y'all. Y'all going to be the first ones. We got a hot show today. I'm telling you right now, the Booger Bears hot today.
I know. We're rocking.
We got, I'll tell you the Jimmy Raines story maybe if I have time. If I don't, I'll tell you another time. I listen to y'all go, we need to talk football schedule first.
Okay.
That's what y'all talking about, and I need to stay along that line. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with who I think Alabama's third opponent will be besides Tennessee and Auburn. I'll tell you that in a minute. I am not satisfied exactly who Auburn's third opponent will be after Georgia and Alabama. It'd be something good for your callers to call in and tell you. I'm not completely 100%. I'm not completely knowing because I'm trying to study who Florida's 3 teams are. I think LSU is a little bit. They're pretty close to A&M if closeness means anything. That might be them. Before I talk about go any further, both of you guys give our listeners a thought on the third team for both teams. Let me say this: those 3 teams are going to play every. That's going to be your rivals, and those are those people the teams are going to play all the time. Go ahead.
Well, 2 years ago, Alabama's was going to be Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee. And that's when Nick Saban was not a very happy camper because he didn't like the fact that Tennessee was getting good again, and that was going to be their third opponent. So unless they change the metrics, I think that's who Alabama's going to end up playing. As far as Auburn goes,
it's going to be Alabama, Georgia, and Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah, that was what it was 2 years ago. I saw someone this morning say that it might be South Carolina instead of Vanderbilt.
Okay. So you gonna give me a might be on South Carolina?
I'm gonna stick with Vanderbilt. I think Auburn will be Vanderbilt, and then the third for Alabama will be Tennessee.
Okay.
What do you think?
For Alabama, I've got Mississippi State.
Okay, so do you have Auburn, LSU, and Mississippi State?
No,
or do you have Auburn, Tennessee?
I have Auburn for Alabama. I have Alabama. I have Auburn, Tennessee, and State.
Okay, so no LSU.
No.
Okay.
I think I could be, as usually, I'm probably wrong.
I could see that happening very easily.
I think it's pretty close. State can beat you if you don't play sometimes. I think it's a rivalry game where the TV likes that. At Auburn, I'm not sure. And I know that Florida has, Florida's one lock is Georgia, no doubt about that.
Right.
And the other 2 locks, I'm not really sure about. You may be right. You may be right in Vanderbilt, South Carolina. I'm not positive. There's a few teams that confuse you a little bit. But for your listeners who are, big the SEC fans, but the Alabama and Auburn fans, I think State for Alabama, and I think if it were to be Florida for Auburn, Georgia, Alabama, and Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I got to be dead wrong on that. I better be.
That's a booger bear right there.
Yeah, I think it is too. Landon, what do you think about that?
Yeah, you're talking about adding Florida, but there's a lot of Auburn fans though that go back to and I hear that from Auburn fans just like you do. Amen corner, playing Florida every year. LSU though, it was not huge in the 80s, but you look at least 2000 in the last 25 years, that Auburn LSU series has been great and weird.
Well, they've done a lot of metric ball studying on this a lot more than I have. They smarter and they didn't come in on a turnip truck. You knew what they wanted to do. Yeah,
I love you. But going back to Alabama and Mississippi State, and I've heard this from other Alabama fans.
Well, I want you to be different than me. I'm just better.
You said
he's about to blast you, Coach. I'm just giving you a heads up.
I had no idea it was this lopsided. I knew it was lopsided, but not this lopsided. All-time series, Alabama leads. Oh my goodness, 88 wins to 17 losses and 3 ties on the field, but 2 wins were vacated.
Heck, they went a whole decade and didn't score a point in Tuscaloosa.
But
The best way to even it out is play every year, Landrum.
We're playing these down through the years, and I won't be here to talk about this as we go down through the years. You know, at my age, I'm 88 now at the gate. So, you know, I won't be able to talk about this much. A few more years, not many. But the Mississippi State thing, I think, just has a air about it that really I don't know that they I don't know that it went to the record that quick. I think they went some to the rivalry. And I know you're going to say to me there wasn't no rivalry there. You get beat by them as a rivalry.
It's an easy drive home after a win in Starkville. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, I may be wrong. I'm anxious to see if I'm correct, and you bust me off a little fanny if I'm wrong, and if I'm right, then you brag on me. I don't.
But in all seriousness, I've heard that from a lot of Alabama fans. We had this discussion like 2 years ago. We got a lot of no. Mississippi State can't go away. We got to have that every year.
Well, and you know, and this is just a weird little tidbit, a trivial tidbit. You got Mississippi State and Alabama. They are the closest in proximity of any two SEC schools.
Sure.
And when you don't play the school right down the road, then you ask the question, what are we doing?
No, I get it.
I think I might be a genius.
I think you figured it out.
You've
Coach.
always been smart and funny.
That's a dangerous combination.
It is.
Now, before I talk about Jimmy Rain thing, ain't that big a deal.
No, tell us the Jimmy Rain story.
No, y'all did Jimmy Rain yesterday's reason I was thinking about it. So it just shows I listen to your show every day.
Well, I appreciate that.
Is he the one that pushed for the national titles to be claimed?
Jimmy Rain called me a minute ago. Just check on me. He's been kind of checking on me because I've gone through some stuff. So,
Coach, do you feed your dog?
I got to get that dog out of here. Lock her up.
Is that a descendant of Pretzel?
That's Sam.
Oh,
okay,
Sam. Okay.
I got her up in Tuscumbia, Alabama, and her mother was named Samantha.
Okay.
All right.
So I named her Sam.
I just make sure the dog was taken care of. That's all.
Yeah, she's okay.
All right.
What was I going to talk about? Blue plate?
No, you're
Jimmy Ray.
Yeah, we're talking about Jimmy Ray.
I'm listening to cotton picking Jimmy Ray. I'm listening to Jimmy Ray's show every day, every weekend. I'm not going to get into about the football coaches. I'm not going because I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. I'm listening to the football. I'm listening to Jimmy Rain's crap all the time about Yellowwood.
Yeah.
Yellowwood this, Yellowwood that, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm listening to it, and he got somebody from Auburn, somebody from Florida, somebody from South Carolina, he ain't got nobody from Alabama. I got my little notepad. It says Wimp Sanderson, basketball coach. It went up with a marker. I write on there. I said Jimmy, and I didn't even know him hardly. I could sell more lumber than Pat Dye ever thought about selling. he's got the letter in his book. He's written a book. My letters. I said I could sell more lumber than Pat Dye ever thought about selling. I said, why in the world don't you have me on? Don't you have somebody from Alabama on the show? I don't know if I said me. I don't remember what I said, and I signed my name. Well, naturally they'd rather have football people on there. Because football people care a lot. I ain't stupid. Football people carry the load. I understand all that. So you ain't got to tell me that. I whisper that to each other. So he did a popularity contest on me, and I won. And so he calls me, and he said, "We'll do an ad." And I said, "Okay." From that time, when I left Alabama, I went to work for Great Southern. And he bought me plaid sport hats.
Nice.
And when we go to a lumber company, we give them plaid hats. And so we had these trips. Tuberville and Pat Dye went together with us. We would go to Alaska, Ketchikan, and we'd take 3 planes and fly out to a boat. Vince Dooley was on there, and we would have 2 or 3 boats, and we'd fish. And they come back, fly back. It was always a big deal.
Sounds it.
We'd have a boat come by with the spaghetti. Of course, if you got the Vince Dooley's spaghetti, wasn't any left because he had it all. So we'd starve to death if you did a boat. But it was and Pat went. Spurrier went all the time. I got pictures that Spurrier went, and he had all the answers and all that crap.
Of course.
So, and so I had a great time on that deal with Jimmy. It all just happened for me writing that silly little letter on my station there saying I could sell more lumber than.
That's
anybody.
amazing.
So it wasn't a joke. And so I worked for him for a long time.
That's awesome.
For over a year, so it was good.
All right.
All
So
right,
you
on the blue plate.
all right. Let's hear it.
On the blue plate, you got the 4 games. Here's what I'm thinking about doing. Now, listen to me what I say. Thinking about doing. Not for next week. I'm gonna give the blue plate this week, but I'm thinking about this because you guys. I'm not a real good gambler. I have been thinking about doing a trifecta, 3 games.
Oh my goodness.
A blue plate, a dessert plate, and a salad. Now, here's a question I want you to answer for me. If I miss on one of those 3, do I lose the whole thing?
Well, you could do it. It could be a progressive where you could potentially lose one of those.
Okay.
Or you could do an exacta, which you had to hit all 3. Which would you prefer? We're open.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I think you need to do both. An exacta.
You got to get it exactly right. You got to hit all 3.
You would have to hit all 3.
Yes.
The profecta, you wouldn't have to.
The progressive. Yeah.
But you wouldn't make as much money.
Correct.
Okay. So next week, I'm thinking. I got 3 games, 3 big games that I think I know who's going to win. I'm not just tickled to death about one of them's line, but if the line, if I just think these 3 teams are going to win. It's going to be basically probably SEC teams. So next week I may do that. Now I know I got to get off here in a minute, but I looked at these games. This game's hard to pick, and I called a coach I know, and he said this guy that's coaching this team I'm fixing to pick can really coach. They throw the football a lot. That's one of the things I like when you throw the football a lot because the other coach has a hard time in the first game getting his pass defense the way they should play. And it may sound silly to you, but it takes you a while to learn pass defense, and if you don't play good. So I picked Western Kentucky.
Okay.
I think it's 10.5, which the half point hurts me some. And I've gotten a lot of people bragging on me over the years. Last year wasn't as good as the year before last. But that's what gambling's all about this year.
That's right.
One year's better than that's what they call it, gambling. So I think is it 10.5?
It is currently 10, Coach. Currently 10.
Well, if we can leave it at 10, then I feel even better about it.
Okay, no, that's what it is. So if you want Western Kentucky, we'll give you Western Kentucky minus 10.
I don't know why. Because I think you throw the football a lot. They're playing at home.
Yep.
And I don't mean to be the home team, but because of basketball coaching, I always think the home team's got a better chance. So because you're gonna get screwed on the road. That's who I picked for the blue play.
All right.
So I don't. And next week you can all tune in and
That's
boo
right.
me if I miss. And I'm thinking about Landon and Pat. Either one of y'all can call me off the air and say, "Wimp, I don't think you ought to do that," or you can say whatever you want to say to me.
No, we love it. We love it.
Not on the air, not on the air, but off the air you can say dumb bunny or whatever.
No.
Anyway,
I'm texting you right now.
so y'all have picked the 3rd team for Auburn is who?
I've got them playing Vanderbilt. Me and Landry
Both
both
of
say
you do?
Vanderbilt. Yes.
Both of you do. Y'all didn't copy off each other's paper. Did you?
No, that's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you got Vanderbilt's the 3rd team for Auburn. The 3rd team for Alabama, you got who?
I got LSU.
LSU.
So does
Both
Landry.
of you got
Yeah.
crap. Y'all been looking on each other's paper. Well,
I know it's
man.
real because I remember Nick Saban's reaction.
Yeah, Nick Saban was ticked. He didn't like that.
yeah.
Now it's okay because he's
Conrad-
retired.
Molly and Conrad, they're gonna be all upset with you. So okay.
Well, they stay upset with us, Coach. You know how we are.
Well.
We're ornery.
Well, that's all I got. I'll go for Crane Works, which is absolutely. It'll tear it down. I'll build it up. David and them do a great job. Go to craneworks.com and take a look at them and see what they do. The Crane Works product, not product, but ability to come in and help you with an operator that can make it a lot better for you. Rental Works, as I've always tell you, I got involved with Rental Works. I couldn't screw in a light bulb, but they came out and helped me some. I tried to use the stuff that they gave me and did use it, and they had an operator there in case I was confused, and I was a little bit confused. So anyway, Crane Works is a great company. They're great people. I hope that people will take a look at them, and I appreciate you guys having me on the show. Every weekend it's a lot of fun. Sometimes the Jimmy Rain story is absolutely the truth. So,
oh yeah, we believe it.
But it's pretty funny. All right, guys.
Go feed Sam.
Hey, Coach. Go feed Sam, and we look forward to the Exacta next week with Coach Sanderson.
Yeah, I hope I said the right thing. What if I miss all three?
Well, you'll start out 0-3, Coach, and it's going to take you a while to get back to 500.
Well, it'll hurt your show too.
Nah, they love it. They love it. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it. All right, more three-man front on this Football Friday on Jox. Always a fun conversation with Coach Wimp Sanderson, brought to you by Crane Works. He likes Western Kentucky -10. We will see if Molly, Conrad, and Landrum agrees with that pick coming up at 12:30, because those three individuals, they will play Bet It or Forget It. Molly is the defending champion. She told me to make sure that I put that in there.
No, I did not.
So tune in at 12:30 for the 5 games that we'll go over.
But I do appreciate you mentioning it.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
We're going to be participating in Better to Forget It. What was your reaction to Wimp's blue plate? Oh, he said don't say it on the air.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Sorry.
He wants us to call him and either agree or disagree with him.
He likes Western Kentucky minus the 10
That's correct.
at home versus Sam Houston, the Bearcats.
Yes. I got a feeling Landrum may not make that pick during Bet It or Forget It. He's going to forget it.
Oh,
I
you
don't
can't
forget.
start off
I don't
that.
forget. I don't forget.
No.
Conrad, you were the forgetter.
You
I
were.
know that, and that's why I said yesterday I will not forget a single game this year. It's a new segment. Bet it. That's the segment.
He's already proclaimed that he will not forget one game this year. He will play every single game.
All of them.
That's what winners do.
Well, you did that last year and you didn't win.
But I did.
I won over you.
That's true. You did win over me.
I didn't finish last.
Didn't I finish in last because I forgot that game? Or there was one point in the season where it was like neck and neck, and I was in last place.
There's lots of
You
reasons
had
you're
one
finishing
less,
last.
yeah.
Thank you, Landrum.
How are your shoes today?
They're good. They dried out.
Good.
Did you dry out?
I did. Yeah, my feet don't itch anymore.
Ugh.
You weighed 30 pounds more
I really did.
when you got to Regions last night than when we saw you at work.
Just a little bit of rain on the way in. It's all right.
Barrett Sallee will join us next. Talk a little Major League Baseball next hour. Also, the play-by-play announcer of Baylor. It is 11 o'clock on this Football Friday. Thanks for tuning us in. I want to thank everyone that showed up last night at the Jox kickoff party. It was a great time. Sorry about the weather. See, if we had a dome stadium, Landrum, that wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
If maps would have passed back in the day, we'd have had a dome stadium and we'd have had the Jox kickoff party at the dome, and we wouldn't have gotten wet last night.
But the Diamonds Direct Ballroom ended up being great.
No, it was fantastic. Very nice.
Everybody was in there, and it was maybe a little bit more controlled than it would be in the elements, and we got to engage and meet a lot of you.
Besides the fact that everyone that I talked to asked me if Conrad is really as sick an individual as we portray him on the show, because of the toothbrush and everything else he does in the shower, that type of stuff, was the fact that everyone wanted to ask me about Social Taco.
Yeah.
They said, it's the ones that have not been there. They were like, it sounds like you guys and everyone in the background is just having a great time.
Yep.
Is that like, are you guys like prodding the audience to, kind of like applause meter and stuff like that? No, like that is legitimate. Like it's a family up there, and we're always welcoming new members to the family, and they come up there and,
I was had a few people last night. They're like, I have to go to Social Taco now after talking to people about it and realizing, this is
Social Taco is
thing.
great, but it wasn't just Social Taco. Everybody that I listened to or talked to and met, they just talked about how much fun it seems like we have on the show every day. And I said, well, that's not manufactured. You can't manufacture fun 4 hours a day, 20 hours a week. That's genuine.
Yep.
And they said, well, it sounds like it. So we appreciate all of you, and we couldn't do it without you, that's for sure.
Yep. One day, maybe Barrett Sallee will drive over here on a Tuesday, and we can buy him some Social Taco. He joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline.
Would love that.
Barrett, you love some nice Mexican cuisine, don't you?
I do, and especially free stuff, because if it's free, it's for me, no doubt. And if it's free Mexican, then I'm on my way.
I mean, listen, it took me and Landrum, we left my driveway, and I think we were in downtown Atlanta in like an hour and 45 minutes. So you could get over here pretty quickly, I believe. So
you know what? Unfortunately, in October through March, I'm not doing an awful lot.
I hate that for you. But we would welcome you if you would like to come over here one Tuesday and hang out with us. That'd be a lot of fun.
If unless a miracle happens, I'll have more free time than I really hoped this off season.
All right, well, let's start there because the Braves have played extremely well over the course of the last couple of weeks, and Michael Harris, he has finally straightened some things out. I mean, he's been one of the hottest hitters in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. Just what's the mood around the team right now with winning kind of cures all ills?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think it started to drag a little bit. You could kind of tell that there was a little bit of disappointment in the clubhouse, and they were not going through the motions, but just kind of frustrated to a point where it kind of came through as a malaise a little bit. Now there's not excitement in terms of the playoffs or anything. There's just excitement to play, right? Like they definitely feel. I mean, let's be honest. Baseball's fun and winning's fun, even if you're the Rockies, right? Going out there and having fun and winning, it makes you a lot happier. It makes you a lot more energetic, and that's something we have seen. And I am a believer that winning is contagious. Maybe more at the lower levels than the major league level, but I think finally playing the way they can has definitely changed the mood.
I don't know if you can answer it, but what do you believe caused this, spurn this? Was it just new approaches, a fresh approach at the plate because they're hitting the ball a lot better? They're producing the amount of runs in most games that we expected from this team? Can you identify one or two things that you think could have led to this?
Well, it's definitely Michael. That's number one. It might be number two and number three also. Not only the success he has and how that translates to just like everybody relaxing, because when he's on, he's a very entertaining and very engaging guy. He's like that anyway, but that's huge, because if he's at the bottom of the order or near the bottom of the order and he starts cranking the way he has, then it turns the lineup over and it gives the good guys more chances. And now moving up in the order and still maintaining that kind of success, really has, I think, translated to everybody, sort of picking up their fair share of work. And then with Marcel, he's kind of cooled off now, but when Mike's success correlates with, a week and a half of Marcelo Zuna just absolutely on a tear, again, it kind of gives everybody that sense of relaxation, and then it's just kind of kept going. Whether it's, Ozzie one night or it's Nick Allen / Nacho Alvarez combining to go, 6 for 9. It's just everything has sort of contributed to all of them sort of relaxing a little bit and playing to their abilities, and in some cases exceeding their abilities. So it's been fun to see. Is it too little, too late? Yeah, maybe. I mean, if we had this kind of success in the first half of the season, coupled with the pitching that we did get, even through a lot of injuries, the division would be over. The Braves would be light years ahead of the Mets for sure, and maybe the Phillies as well.
I understand that Austin Riley had a procedure done. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I think it's official that the Braves have shut him down for the rest of the season. Is that correct?
Yeah, he had surgery in Philly yesterday with, I think it's the nation's leading sports hernia doctor. He's out for the regular season, is what they said. They didn't necessarily limit to just the entire year because there's still a chance at the postseason, obviously. It was weird because they said he didn't run bases well Sunday. And then we were at batting practice on Monday, and he did hit. He took like 3 rounds. The first one was he was very, very, very conservative in how he swung the bat. Then the last 2 rounds, he was uncorking it a little bit, and then the next day he struggled to run the bases too. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to know, what hurts a sports hernia and what is, sort of tolerable, but he clearly was going through some stuff and testing his body out early this week to try to figure out what he can and can't do. And to me, it became abundantly clear when Snit said he couldn't run the bases well on Tuesday that something was up.
Braves Radio Network pre- and post-game host Barrett Sallee joining us on 3-Man Front on the Higginbotham Hotline. Hurston Waldrop, oh my goodness. Wasn't expecting this. Wasn't expecting anything close to this. He's 4-0, 0.73 earner run average, 24 strikeouts, and 24 and 2/3 innings pitched. Okay, so when do the people come out and say, it's been a practical joke? He's really not this good. Talk me down here because I think the kid's great.
I am not going to talk you down because I have seen it with my own 2 eyes. And that kid is special. I mean, he is special. I'm not the biggest deep analytics guy, but I did look at his vertical break between his splitter and his cutter, and it's like a 15-inch difference. It's just like, come on. So, and the other direction, like 15 once, in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So, I think for Hurston, he came up too early last year and he got shell-shocked. And, for some of these guys, you've always been the man, right? You've always been that dude, dating back to Little League. And so when you come in and you get your teeth knocked in, it's a shock. And a lot of guys don't know how to handle it. And I don't think he knew how to handle it. And then this past, spring, watching AAA guy after AAA guy after AAA guy moving to the Braves, and he's just sitting down there. I think that knocked some sense into him a little bit. Oh, knocked some sense. Maybe just opened his eyes a little bit, say, all right, I've got to do something different. And after talking to Sean Murphy, when Sean was down there doing rehab, Sean told him to use his sinker more because his sinker plays at this level. And so he's done that. But then also he's followed game plans with his catchers because his pitch split mix is all over the place, which means he has a feel for what works and he has a plan going in. And it's just great to see. It's great to see. And I love the fact that he's basically solidified a spot next year because he can be elite, but then also he can maybe be a trade piece this offseason. So there's a lot going on. and I love it.
Barrett, how would you handicap the National League teams in regards to the postseason? Who you like right now?
Oh, well, I mean, I would love to see the Brewers win it. I mean, I just would love that. I'm really afraid of the Padres. If I'm anybody in the National League, I'm afraid of the Padres. The Mets are the Mets, which is just hilarious. So, I think for me, I'd love to see a Brewers Phillies NLCS. I don't want the Dodgers anywhere around it. I would love to see the Brewers Padres. So it's gonna be a fun NL playoff, that's for sure. So I don't know. Hopefully the Braves knock the Mets down a little bit tonight, and they get within 6.5 games of them. I know there's a bunch of other teams, a bunch of other traffic to get through, but a sweep of the Mets will at least give Braves fans hope. It might be a false sense of hope, but at least it's hope.
Starting tonight, 23-12. That's my goal for the Braves. That means that they will finish at 500.
Oh, man, that sounds so bad.
It really does. That's where we are, Barrett. You know it. You live it every day there at the park.
You know what? How about 30 and what would that be? 30 and 7?
Yeah.
30 and
Yeah, anything north of that, go ahead. Have at it, boys. Have some fun.
You still might be in the wild card race if you finish that strong.
Especially if it's against the right teams.
That's right.
Yeah.
You play enough of really good teams left on the schedule. So
we're nipping at the Marlins' heels now. So here we go. Barrett, we appreciate all you do for us throughout the year, but especially the Major League Baseball season, the Braves season. You're gonna take a little bit of a break. Hopefully, we're gonna see you here at Social Taco.
Absolutely.
Seriously, that's an open invitation.
Hey, I wanted to remind you guys, this time last year, I was doing a hit with you guys, several Guinnesses and lost and
That's
double.
right.
That is correct.
Oh, that was great.
That was great radio.
I had no idea where I was.
And we were actually
we were concerned.
We were
Barrett.
concerned for your well-being because you were walking down a dark alley after several Guinnesses.
I had no clue where I was.
Oh, that's fun. I'm so glad you reminded us.
A lot of Florida State fans blame Barrett for their problems last year.
Well, you know what? I don't care because I had fun.
Well, all I would say to the Florida State fans is what happened the other 11 games.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys were terrible.
Yeah.
Barrett, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's get a series win over the Mets and strive for 500.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. That's the goal.
Thank you, brother.
All right, see y'all.
See you. Braves pre- and post-game host Barrett Sallee, Braves Radio Network. You can hear it on Jox and our family stations all season long. On the Higginbotham Hotline, you deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, we all bore witness to it last night. More heavy storms in the Birmingham metropolitan area, and I actually had one of our listeners ask me for Abide Roofing's phone number while we were standing under one of the tents out there in the outfield. And I told him it's real easy to remember, 205-941-6223, because he was concerned because he thought he had some leaking in his attic. And as we're standing under the tent and he's talking about, man, I need that number because I'm really concerned that when I get home, I'm going to have a mess. And if he did, he's going to have the peace of mind of knowing that Travis Lloyd and his local roofing team, they are outstanding. They put a new roof on my house because I had some problems with a few shingles that led to leaking in my attic, which then ended up leaking on my ceiling in my kitchen. So Travis Lloyd and his team, they were able to take care of that, but they can offer you a free, no-pressure roof inspection. So a lot of times, we don't have drones that's going to go up there and look on your roof. And if you have a very high-pitched type of roof like I had, I'm not going to get up on my roof. But Travis Lloyd and his team at Abide Roofing, they're going to do that for you free with no pressure, that roof inspection. They're going to give you just an honest assessment of what's going on. And if you're good to go, hey, great. If not, they can fix it from shingles being loose to a full roof replacement. Go to their website, abideroof.com, or call them at 205-941-6223 at Abide Roofing.
SEC going the 9-game schedule, beginning what that means for Alabama, what it means for Auburn. We'll discuss it next.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we will talk to the voice of the Baylor Bears as we get an Auburn-Baylor preview. If that old tree is leaning too close to your house, don't wait for that next storm to make a decision for you. Call Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4443. Very important that you write that number down because with all these storms that we have right now in central Alabama, the 24-hour emergency tree service that they have, that is a valuable thing that you need to be aware of. 205-337-4443. Golston Tree Service is your trusted local experts in fast, affordable, professional tree removal, trimming, and cleanup. Call Golston, 205-337-4443.
The big story late yesterday afternoon, the SEC announcing is officially going to a 9-game schedule beginning next season. Part of that reasoning, Pat, guys, was Commissioner Greg Sankey saying that the enhanced schedule strength of record metrics that was announced by the College Football Playoff Committee leading to that decision, as well as other financial considerations. But what does that mean potentially for other games? You're still going to have a non-conference game and a marquee non-conference game, air quotes, from a Power 4 that's going to be required in the future. But do we get some of those big-time premier matchups that we love to see as college football fans? I don't know if we do.
The other thing that I was thinking about yesterday that a lot of people haven't talked about, by the SEC going to the 9 conference games, all of a sudden, what does that affect in regards to the smaller schools, whether you're an FCS school or you're a non-Power 4 school that plays an SEC school as a non-conference opponent? The money games, so to speak. What happens to a team's budget? Because they rely on that heavily, whether you're a Mercer, Tennessee, Chattanooga, a Sanford. Sanford's dadgum, they're going out to Texas and playing Texas A&M. That Coach Hatcher told us straight up, hey, we got to have the money. So what happens to those type games?
And I understand that, but I think about it the other way, Pat. I'm thinking, well, if you're going to play a 9-game schedule, you're still required to play a 9-game SEC schedule. Let's just say you're still required to play an opponent from the Big Ten, and however that rotation with that loose partnership could work. Well, then you only got 2 regular season games left. I would think that everybody is calling Martin Newton in the Sanfords of the world or the Mercers or whoever and saying, hey, we absolutely want that FCS game now. We're playing a at least 10-game power conference schedule.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how some of these schools have to reshuffle things because I know somebody pointed out, like Georgia, for example, in 2030 is scheduled. They would play every single one of their games would be a Power 4 opponent because they're going to play Clemson. I think they're going to play Ohio State that year, and then they have Georgia Tech. And then you also have your 9-game conference schedule. Alabama, for example, in 27-28, they have West Virginia and Ohio State plus a 9-game conference schedule. So
it might in turn hurt the UABs, the East Carolinas, those type teams.
More than it would a Sanford or a Mercer or a Tennessee Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Because you want those guaranteed wins from
Yeah, because you don't want to suit up against a UAB or a Charlotte or someone like that potentially could knock you down. So let's hear from Commissioner Greg Sankey. He was on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday afternoon, and this is what he had to say about what factors went into this ultimate decision that took place yesterday going to 9 conference games.
What I described the last 2 days to athletics directors is the CFP's made progress. We're not at perfection. The full clarity on how strength of schedule will be honored in the selection process would be important to us. We're at an 8-game schedule this year. We'll have a second opportunity to see how selection decisions are made. The opening few weeks of the college football season and non-conference games are important. Those factors, the ability for the CFP to move a bit. One thing that I think I want to be clear about is we have preferred a 16-team format with kind of the maximum number of at-large slots. We think that value combined with clarity around selection is important for the Southeastern Conference. That remains. There are other ideas that have been talked about. We haven't taken positions on those, but the clarity was a bit of a tipping point. And also, as you look to the opportunity, positioning ourselves well for the future, the interest that we build, the community that we build around the conference by teams being seen by our fan base rather than just seen on the television. Those are important deciding factors for us.
Commissioner Greg Sankey yesterday talking about some of the factors that went into the last couple of days with the athletic directors deciding and the presidents to vote and to move to the 9 conference games. So what does this mean, Commissioner Sankey, in regards to the grand scheme of the college football playoff?
It took a while, a lot of factors involved. I've talked about, bowl eligibility, the CFP, and some of the work by the CFP so far this year is progress. It's not a destination, but the honoring of schedule strength that's been communicated is really important for the Southeastern Conference. Being leaders in college football, continuing to play games against non-conference opponents at a high level in addition to the 9 games. I think that's a representation of fulfilling that leadership responsibility. That's not something that's done every place. Not everyone agrees. I'm certain that our coaches are concerned about the competitive aspect. We've got to continue to improve the selection process for the postseason. Yet when you factor that in along with our media relationship with ESPN, what we experienced from viewership last year, Paul, when you go back to the COVID year where we played conference-only games and had the highest viewership consumption on the SEC network, because every one of those games were great games, a lot of lessons that also set us up for future decision-making and future opportunities.
So there you have it.
He listens.
He does.
He listens to the show.
He sure does. So the SEC officially next year moves to 9. The Big Ten, outside of a couple of folks that did not attribute their names to quotes in stories by Yahoo, they said they're still concerned about a 5-11 format and the 11 teams that potentially the committee would have to vote on to put into the playoff.
I didn't hear anywhere in his reasoning for moving to the 9-game schedule Tony Petitti's peer pressure.
No.
Or Brett Bielema's whining and belly aching.
Belly aching.
I know,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I like
Lots you could do there.
Yep, like what you said there.
Mm.
Yep. Well, one thing's for sure now, the ACC's...
I bet his belly does ache.
Jiggle?
Like a bowl full of jelly.
I can tell you what, those boxes would be empty if he was here.
You want to do an impromptu...
Nope. I already had the thought. I was like, they're going to ask me at some point.
Conrad, would you like to ruin your weekend?
No, I already had one this morning, and it was fantastic, but I think that's it for
We'll
me.
have 17 more.
Goodness gracious.
I'm good.
They do look really good.
They are thick, too. They're,
I was the weight.
Yeah, those will fill you up.
Coming up next on 3-Man Front, we'll go to Waco, Texas. We will talk to the voice of the Baylor Bears as they'll be hosting the Auburn Tigers 1 week from today. That's next.
11:29, three-man front here on this Football Friday, Week 0, officially beginning tomorrow. We're your home for college football all season long. Right here on Jox, we appreciate you joining us. Well, there's no better place in town to enjoy sports and music than the Phoenix. The Phoenix, your front row seat to the best entertainment. Massive screens that got explosive sound from every seat in the house. The experience is bigger, brighter, and bolder. And their new restaurant menu is certainly worth cheering for. Wings that win MVPs and wood-fired grilled burgers stacked like your fantasy team. And steaks so good you're going to forget there's a game on. Phoenix's new 6-day schedule includes live acoustic acts Wednesday through Friday, 5:30 to 8, followed by live bands. On Fridays, that means tonight, beginning at 10 p.m. Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays, all dedicated to sports with no live music to get in the way. We can't wait to see you at the Phoenix this football season, 1630 2nd Avenue South, near Railroad Park.
We're happy to be joined right now by the voice of the Baylor Bears, John Morris. He joins us in 1 week from today. The Auburn Tigers will be in Waco, Texas, taking on Baylor. John joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. John, thanks for joining the show. How are you?
Guys, doing great. I appreciate you having me on. It is it's almost time to scratch that itch with football, isn't it?
It sure is. Okay, the first question, a lot of Auburn people that will be making the trip out to Waco, because
right.
I know you guys have a lot of hot weather, just like we have hot weather and humidity here in the central part of Alabama. What's the weather supposed to be like next Friday?
That's a very fair question. It has been, and I'm not blowing smoke, it has been a very mild summer for us here in Waco. We've only had 3 days over 100.
Oh.
And the temperature has been below, like normal would be, 97, 98. It's been below that for most of the summer. So it's not been bad. We had a scrimmage last Friday night, so a week ago tonight, at the same time that we'll kick off against Auburn next Friday. And it was like 90 degrees, and there was a little bit of a breeze. And we all said, this isn't bad, and we were in the booth, so we didn't get the full effects of the breeze. So it's not going to be bad. A night game, I think you'll enjoy it, and I would say for the Auburn fans, come to Waco, and we'll hopefully treat you right.
John, for our listeners who are not familiar yet with the Baylor Bears and why there's so much optimism for them in the 25 season, tell us, and I guess it all starts at quarterback, and you got some pretty good wide receivers as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start. Sawyer Robertson is our quarterback. Some of your listeners may remember him. He was at Mississippi State and transferred to Baylor a couple of years ago, and he's just been terrific. He didn't start last year as the starter, but it was evident very early on that he was our best quarterback. So he stepped in, and a snapshot of Baylor year last year, we started 2-4. And things were not looking good, and we had an open date and came out of the open date and just blew Texas Tech out of the water. And from there, that started a 6-game winning streak to end the regular season. So 8-4 in the regular season from a 2-4 start. We did lose to LSU in the bowl game, but played fairly well against them. So that's, and coming off that, I think momentum from that winning streak a year ago, a good number of guys returning, our top running back, Bryson Washington, Sawyer Robertson at quarterback, and a good group of receivers also. And then a really good group defensively, not as many returning starters defensively. But overall, there's a lot of returning quality key people on this Baylor team.
We're talking to John Morris. He's the voice of the Baylor Bears as they'll be hosting the Auburn Tigers 1 week from today there in Waco. So let's jump to the other side of the ball. Let's talk about the defense. We remember Dave Aranda. He had just an incredible run at LSU as their defensive coordinator, head coach. He took over the defensive play calling last year, if I'm not mistaken, for the Bears, and things seem to turn the corner towards the back end of the season. It looks like continuity on the defensive side of the ball. That's going to be a huge theme this year for the Bears. Just take us on that side of the ball and what the anticipation is for that group.
Yeah, that's I think most people, if you take a 30,000-foot view of Baylor, you would say, all right, the offense looks really good. How good can the defense be? Can the defense match the offense to determine how good a season Baylor's going to have? And there are some question marks on defense, not as many returning guys, but some really good new players that have been added to the roster this year and build around Keaton Thomas, who's our linebacker, leading tackler, over 100 tackles last year. Jackie Marshall, a defensive end. Devin Bobby would be our top defensive back. So there are some really key guys returning there. And I think that Baylor did a really good job. You know, these days, retaining your players is maybe just as important as recruiting new players, you know, getting new guys in. And they did a really good job of retaining those key guys and then adding some transfers to go with them. So defense, you know, maybe a bit of a question mark, maybe more questions than on the offensive side, but I don't think that many. I think with Dave Aranda calling the defensive signals again, I think we're in pretty good shape there.
With all of the unknowns, John, heading into week one, and it might be tough just kind of with a 30,000-foot view right now, but with what Baylor is going to face in the Auburn Tigers, some uncertainties, and Auburn fans anxiously anticipating what that offense and the defense look like. What is the expectation, at least from the Baylor side, of what they're going to get from Hugh Freeze and the Tigers?
Yeah, I mean, great respect for Auburn, great program, great history there. This will be the first SEC school to play in McLean Stadium here in Waco, and this will be starting our 11th year at McLean Stadium. So, you know, it's a big deal, and to have it move to Friday night national TV for Fox, knowing that it's a night game, a 7 o'clock Central Time kickoff. We've made it a blackout on the Brazos. The Brazos River runs right by the stadium. And maybe you've seen Baylor's going to roll out some chrome helmets for the game. So I think we're pulling out all the stops, that's for sure, with Auburn coming to town. And it's a big deal. I mean, it's really a big deal to have Auburn here. We haven't played Auburn in football since 1976, haven't played them in Waco since, I think, 1975. So it's a really big season opener from the Baylor perspective.
So last year as SEC guys, and we're paying attention to the Big 12, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, here comes Arizona State. Is
Right.
the conference as open as it was last year from an outsider's perspective, or with you being in the league, is this a Texas Tech, Baylor, Arizona type league this year, or heck, maybe even throw in a Kansas State?
Yeah, I think you could mention 5 or 6 teams, maybe 7, that have a chance to win the championship, and that might not be enough. I think it's very wide open. I think there's a lot of parity in this league. Sometimes people hear the word parity, and that means to them no really good teams. But I just think we got a lot of really good teams, and just depends on how things shake out over the course of the year. Arizona State was really interesting last year. They were picked last, dead last, 16th in the league in the preseason poll. And then, lo and behold, they end up winning it and going to the college football playoff. And it's interesting, one of the byproducts of that, there was no preseason poll in the Big 12 this year because they felt like, our league leaders felt like that it hurt the league, that Arizona State was picked last, and that kept being brought up. You know, well, how can they be that good? They were picked last in the league in the preseason. So we didn't even do a preseason poll this year. But to answer your question, I think there's a lot of really good teams. I think Baylor's in that top tier as well, but some really good teams. And 2 of them play tomorrow in week 0, Iowa State and Kansas State, play in Dublin, Ireland to kick off the season tomorrow.
What has been maybe the ripple effect? We know where it's been, at least here and across college football, but the ripple effect within that state and within the Big 12 with a billionaire booster there in Lubbock, Texas, infusing all of that money, not only in the football, the athletics program, how much of a sense of urgency, if there was not already a sense of urgency, has that created, at least there in Waco?
Yeah, a fair question. I think it was already there. I mean, we know what we're up against, you know, Baylor competing in this league and competing nationally, and we're doing well. And we've got a really good group of boosters who have been very, very loyal to Baylor and very generous through the years. We don't have a Cody Campbell, you know, that has given that much money, like you mentioned, at Texas Tech. But it just sort of, I think it just sort of raises the level for everybody, you know, knowing what he has done and is doing for Texas Tech. And I tell you, there's very high expectations. You know, if you put that much money into the program, there's really high expectations in Lubbock for Texas Tech this year. And then Kansas, you know, they've just had a guy, David Booth, give $300 million more, and his name is on the stadium. So there's, you know, it's kind of the price of playing poker these days, you know. To
Yeah.
get in the game, you've got to be willing to. You've got to know that that's the price of playing poker and the price to stay in the game. And I think we're doing that at Baylor. But it's a never-ending situation, is it, to try to to keep up with everybody else?
No, it sure is. John Morris joins us for a few more minutes, the voice of the Baylor Bears. They'll be hosting the Auburn Tigers 1 week from today there in Waco. So, John, I just wanted to get your thoughts on where we currently stand with the college football playoff expansion. Everybody's got to come to a decision by December the 1st. I'm just curious, are you in the camp of where it currently is with the 12 and obviously straight seeding? Do you like 16? Do you now like the Big Ten model of now maybe potentially going to 24 or 26 automatic qualifiers? Most of the people you talk to around the Big 12, where do they fall in regards to what the CFP should look like?
Right. Well, this is just my opinion,
Sure.
and I'm no expert on it. But our athletic director, Mike Rodak, is the chairman of the CFP this year. So he'll be the guy you'll see on camera, on those Tuesday night reveals starting in November. And I would lean on what I've gotten from Mac, and I think the general consensus around here, and this is from our commissioner, Brett Yormark also, is 16-team playoff. The 5-11 model seems to be the one that everyone here around here is most in favor of. So I would fall in line with that. I think 16 is a great number. It would expand it by, 4 more. I don't like the Big Ten, what they kind of floated, 24 or 26. I just think that waters it down too much. But 16, I think, is a good number. So we'll see. And I sure liked moving from 4 to 12. I think that was a great move. If it stays at 12, that's fine. If it goes to 16, I think that'd be maybe even better.
Finally, we've got a lot of Auburn fans and folks that will be making the trip to Waco. Just a couple of things that you would recommend if they're coming out there for a couple of days to be able to enjoy your part of the world.
Yeah, come on. We got a lot here. Most folks come to Waco to see Fixer Upper and Magnolia, with Chip and Joe. So that's a real popular spot, and that'll be easy to get to. Probably be crowded on that weekend because this game and being Labor Day weekend also. So maybe come in a day or two early, and hit that up before the game on Friday. But we got that. We got some good steak places. We got good Mexican places. We got good barbecue, really good barbecue here in Waco, Texas. So I think there's a lot to see and do here, and hope some Auburn folks make the trip and enjoy the experience in Waco.
Should be a lot of fun. Great conversation. John, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us, kind of giving us a preview of what's going to be in store for next Friday night. It should be great. We're excited that the season's kicking off tomorrow in Dublin and, of course, week 1 next week. Best for a successful season this year in Waco, and hopefully we can catch up with you again down the road sometime.
That'd be great. You guys are great for having me on. I appreciate it. I hope Baylor has a good enough season that we have reason to talk later in the year.
That sounds
thanks
great.
for having me on.
All right. Thank you, John.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. That is John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears, as they get ready to host the Auburn Tigers. And he joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, if you're looking for a place to catch the Auburn and Baylor game, well, let me tell you about Big Whiskeys, because they are the place for great food of all varieties. They have a full menu with apps, salads, burgers, and steaks, and their bar features unique cocktails, over 120 whiskeys, including whiskey on tap, and plenty of screens so that you can catch all the college football action all season long. So go in and check out all the games that they're going to have on the bar in the big screen in the Sam Trace Village off Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk to Mike Rodak from Bama 247. Also next hour, the first edition of Bet It or Forget It, as defending champion Molly Robinson will try to defend her crown with a 5-0 record this week. All that next on Three Man Front. Appreciate John Morris joining us, the voice of the Baylor Bears. They're pretty excited about the upcoming season. They finished really well on the back end of last season. Dave Aranda started the play calling, started calling the plays on the defensive side, which obviously that's a smart move. He's a really good defensive coordinator throughout his time at Wisconsin and then at LSU. And, we talked to a couple of people, and we'll talk to him again next week. David Smoke, who does a very popular show, 365 Sports in Waco. And he told us last year that if he didn't get to a certain number, that he most definitely was going to be on the hot seat. And he got over that number, but it did not look good. It was not pretty early for Baylor, but they ended up riding the ship towards the back end, made some people feel obviously pretty confident in this season because some people have them, including Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews. He's got them finishing second in the Big 12. So
this is going to be a great barometer for Auburn, for Hugh Freeze.
I think for both teams.
Yeah. And the more I've said it here on the air, but the more people I talk to, I feel like this is an absolute must-win for Hugh Freeze and Auburn. Just given what has happened the last two seasons. To get out of the gate, to get a win in Waco against a, fringe top 25 team, tough environment, really good quarterback, good offensive scheme, good coach on the other sideline. If Auburn can get this win, I think this would really, really propel them forward because they have got the first 5 games, they set up and look a lot different than they did last year.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the next step, right? Where you feel pretty good, right? If you're going to play in Arkansas or Kentucky, and I know some of those teams have beat, but you get what I'm saying, right? We feel confident about those types of games for Auburn. But now this isn't, a Georgia-type opponent, but it is a solid top 25, like you mentioned, Landrum, a team that some people expect will compete for a Big 12 championship this year. These are the kinds of teams, if you're going to win 9 games in a season, you have to be able to win these games and give people confidence that, hey, if let's say we were to be in a playoff conversation, we would be there and we'd actually be able to handle the business.
I look at it totally different than I do LSU and Clemson, right?
Yeah, I mean, who cares who loses that game?
Yeah, both teams, you feel pretty good about them at least winning 9 games. In Clemson's case, more than that. And in LSU's case, I think most people would say more than that. Auburn kind of uncharted, and a lot of that carryover from the other rosters, you just wonder, does confidence start waning with some of those guys if you come out and you lose game 1?
What is Walker White telling his teammates in Baylor this weekend?
Ooh.
What is the intel? I don't think there's a lot.
Hey, speaking of names from the past, I was reading a preview of the Kansas game, and I completely forgot that Emmanuel Henderson transferred to Kansas.
I forgot about
from
that
Alabama.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
I mean, he got some. I mean, not significant, but I mean, he was on special teams last year for Alabama.
He played, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got playing time. A lot.
Well, that's like, I forget Kendrick Law plays for Kentucky now. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
Kobe Prentice plays for Baylor.
That's right.
Yeah. It's just, those guys are
this
still
world
out there.
of the transfer portal.
Yep.
Trying to keep up with this. But yeah, I saw Emmanuel Henderson's name on, somebody was pointing out, he's supposed to be one of their explosive receivers at Kansas. I was like, wait a second, that name. And I was like, oh my gosh. He had some good playing time at Alabama last year.
Yeah, he is listed as
number
wide
1
receiver Z.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they
First
fare
string.
better than Malik Benson did.
And he's wearing number 1.
He was number 3 at Alabama, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You know who else is on that team?
On Kansas?
Justice Finkley.
That's right.
Isn't college football fun now?
You know, it's fun. Yeah, because I was going down the roster on our lads, and I go to defense. I'm like, any other notable names? And then I see Justice Finkley, and I'm like, wait, he played at Hewitt.
Yeah, called every single one of his games in high school. Matter of fact, I coached Justice Finkley on an all-star baseball team. He was a great kid. Parents were great.
Originally Texas.
That's right. He went to Texas for a couple of years, and he transferred. But, yeah, he was, man.
Well, hang on. Let me see if there's any other guys we know.
I know. It's got to refamiliarize ourselves with the Big 12 rosters.
That's every roster. Golly. Okay. Well,
I'm glad you told me that.
There's another reason to watch.
I completely forgot about that. Water is your home's worst enemy, and it doesn't need an invitation. It can find its way into your crawl space, bringing along mold, pests, wood rot. But Alabama Professional Services, or APS, they have the solution for you. It's their crawl space encapsulation system. It can seal out the moisture, block the pests, and can even help reduce your energy bills. This isn't a one-size-fits-all solution because the engineers at APS, they design a custom system specifically for your home. So don't let that crawl space problems get worse over time. Call APS 205-951-9717 or visit alabamaprofessional.com. That's 205-951-9717. In just a couple minutes, we're going to talk to Mike Rodak from Bama 247. Chris Lowe had a story at ESPN.com that he posted a little bit earlier this morning, quoting Kalen DeBoer, and the story headline read that Kalen DeBoer says that Jam Miller will be back for the Georgia game. Were we not expecting him to be back at the Georgia game? Was this new news? I just want to make sure I didn't miss something. I was at the Jox kickoff party last night getting wet.
Pat, it's not officially
What an
news
interesting choice of
until
words.
yeah, right. It's not officially news until Chris Lowe reports it.
Has he
I guess
reported-
I jumped the gun because I was talking like that on Monday, coming out of the scrimmage. That
Has he reported that Ty Simpson won the job at starting quarterback?
I think that's already come down. But hey, stay tuned. I'm sure he'll tell us who the backup's going to be at some point.
But don't you remember last year when it was like 2 weeks, and then he reported that Jalen Milroe was the starting quarterback?
No way.
It's like when you go on your
believe it.
Instagram feed and you're like, wait, oh, wow. Oh, this happened 6 days ago.
Yeah. But I mean, again, and I was, me and Pat were kind of talking in the break. It's why did you not announce this during your press conference yesterday? Was this not
Had to hold the news for
well? And I just thought it was interesting the way he even talked about it in the presser yesterday. Was now that I have more information, it seems like this may be a worse injury than I thought. So he's going to be week to week. Was he not always week to week? It's a collarbone. Bizarre. But yeah, Jam will be back for Georgia, expected.
Well, we'll
That's
ask Mike Rodak in a minute what the time frame is.
Does he have to ask Chris Lowe or?
I think Mike's a good enough reporter. He can handle that himself.
Oh, I know he's a good enough reporter. I thought everybody had to go through Lowe.
Now, Lowe has to go through Jimmy Sexton.
There it is.
Did I say that out loud? Are we on the air?
Hello?
Test, 1, 2.
What's going on?
Oh, it's a football Friday. Just think, they'll be nearing halftime in Dublin, Ireland tomorrow at this time. The Guinness will be flowing at the Landrum Roberts household tomorrow.
No, it will not. No.
Mike Rodak joins us next. It is 12 noon. Welcome in. It's Football Friday. Mike Rodak from Bama 247. He will be one of our weekly guests on Friday as we talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide. We are 8 days away from them taking on the Florida State Seminoles. A lot of discussion this morning about the 9-game SEC conference schedule that was made official yesterday afternoon by Commissioner Greg Sankey as the presidents voted to move forward. I was told that a schedule could be potentially presented relatively quickly. Ross Dellinger, I believe, from Yahoo Sports, he reported that it might not come until December, so we'll wait and see. The SEC obviously has schedule models, and they've probably looked at a many of schedule models, and we'll see when that comes to fruition. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, talk a little Alabama football, is Mike Rodak from Bama 247. Mike, I hope the summer has been well for you.
It's been going well, and yeah, just to hit off your last point, Greg Sankey was on Paul's show yesterday, and he specifically said December is when they're planning on doing their TV show to reveal the schedule, because every league needs to have a TV show now to do a schedule reveal, so that's their plan.
All right, but let's start there with the schedule before we get to the nuts and bolts of what's going on with the Alabama roster and scrimmages and so forth. Your thoughts on the 9-game SEC schedule, and I had posted this on Twitter yesterday because based on the data from 2 years ago, it would have had Alabama playing Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee as the 3 permanent opponents. What do you think about those 3, and where do you think ultimately it will end up for Alabama with those 3 permanent opponents?
Yeah, I mean, coming from an NFL background personally, like I'm always in favor of playing more good games. I think the whole idea of Alabama playing Utah State or Middle Tennessee or whoever was always very foreign to me. Like, I understand the history of it in college football, but I think people just want to watch a good game. And if 9 games means eliminating one of those games, then good. Now, I'm not even sure that will be the case. Like, if you saw Greg Burns' statement last night, going to reevaluate Alabama's non-conference scheduling, and maybe it's possible they cancel some of those, higher non-conference games that they have. But yeah, I think it's a positive. I don't know if it's going to be a positive for every team every season. I think there's obviously teams that are going to kind of be worse off because of it. But I think for fans, it's a good thing. As far as the permanent opponents, I mean, I would expect LSU to be the 3rd one. I think a lot of people, obviously the debate there is between LSU and Mississippi State. And yes, Auburn is a rivalry game for Alabama. It's gone back and forth over the years. But when the SEC looks at the data, and I think I saw it today, there's analytics companies doing it for them. And, one of the metrics might be wins in the past 5 years, wins in the past 10 years, et cetera. Auburn's not very high on that list. And it's quite frankly getting worse for Auburn. So that's actually a game that they kind of catch a break. Alabama catches a break statistically by playing Auburn, as opposed to a higher ranked team in the SEC, a Texas or Oklahoma or somebody. So you kind of have to factor that in. You also have to factor in that Tennessee wasn't very good for a good number of years there. Butch Davis, Jeremy Pruitt, they've gotten better under Josh Heupel. I don't know if they're going to be all that good this year. So Tennessee is still in the middle of the pack in terms of wins over the last 10 years. So I don't think it's outrageous to have LSU. I don't think it's unfair. I mean, you look at Auburn having to play Georgia and Alabama by default every year. That's tough. And there's other schools like A&M, having to play Texas every year. I'd have to think who else would be on their list. I guess Arkansas maybe over there would be, there's just schools that have tougher schedules. And I don't think it's outrageous for Alabama to have to play LSU every year. I think fans like the idea of watching Alabama LSU every year. I know some people might want Mississippi State, but I ultimately think LSU is where it lands.
Mike Rodak, Bama 247, joining us on 3-Man Front on the Higginbotham Hotline. Mike, we heard Coach DeBoer say, hey, we're going to keep grinding. We're going to keep practicing, battling it out. As far as uncertainties for you, from your vantage point, what position groups, individual players are still jockeying for position?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of starting jobs, there's not very much. I mean, there's the guard situation with Jaden Roberts, and that was a competition even before his concussion. And I think all signs right now point to Geno Vandermark and Cam Dewberry being the starters at guard. And whenever Jaden Roberts gets back from his concussion, he probably rotates into that and just kind of see where that goes. But There's really not like a starting job on this Alabama team right now that you're wondering about. Now, I would wonder about the running back distribution, without Jam Miller. I think that feels to be a pretty decent question mark. Just listening to Ryan Grubb, listening to Kalen DeBoer this week, the tone of their answers wasn't the greatest in terms of how they feel about what's behind them right now. And I think, yes, Daniel Hill, big back, bruising back. Richard Young showed some flash last year at a touchdown against Missouri. They brought in Jerry Washington out of the portal from Louisiana, but I think they really trust what Jam Miller can do. And he had a good fall camp before he got hurt. So that's a question mark. And, we'll have to see how they distribute it. We'll have to see what the weather is in Florida State. I mean, that could be a factor if it does rain, and kind of by default, Florida in August, you're probably looking at least the possibility of a pop-up storm. But if there is organized rain, you're trying to run the ball a lot, and we'll have to see how they do that. So not a whole lot of questions. And when the depth chart comes out next week, I don't know what day it will come out. I don't think there will be too many surprises, but those are just a couple of positions that there may be some level of uncertainty left at this point.
In regards to the defensive side of the ball, there's a lot of optimism about how a lot of the young guys from last year got the experience. Now it's going to be that experience. It's going to lead to that group to be potentially one of the best in the Southeastern Conference. Do you share that opinion in regards to that side of the ball?
I mean, yeah, it's a veteran group, and you're talking about 4th, 5th, 6th-year guys, and there's a lot of them. And I know people, might get excited about Keon Keeley and kind of the progress he made in the spring, or Dijon Lee coming in as a freshman and probably getting on the field right away in some capacity, or some of the other younger guys they have. But I think this defense is really going to lean on the veteran players. Obviously, Deontay Lawson, Keon Sabb, Damani Jackson's a senior. Tim Keenan's a 5th-year guy. LT Overton's a senior. James Smith is a junior. Quay Russo is a 3rd-year guy. There's a lot of veterans. And then you add in Jamarian Latham, I think is going to see more time than people think. A 6th-year guy. Deshaun Jones is probably your starting Husky, a 5th-year guy. So very experienced group. I think it's one that Kane trusts. But with every single guy, you can kind of ask a question. I don't think there's a first-round pick on this defense right now in terms of next year. There's obviously not an all-SEC, first-team all-SEC player on this defense. So with each of those guys, you can say, what's the next step for Damani Jackson? What does Deontay Lawson look like coming back from injury? What does Sabb look like coming back from injury? Can LT Overton get more sacks? Can Tim Keenan get more pressure? Can James Smith put it all together? Can Russo put it all together? So if they answer a lot of those questions, I think this defense could be great. But there are questions with each guy kind of along the way, and let's have to see how that works out.
Mike, speaking of questions, Ryan Grubb, we know what he can do. We saw what he did at Washington, highly thought of. What are the questions that you have for Alabama's offense from a schematic standpoint as we enter week 1?
Yeah, I still want to see where that run-pass balance falls. I think that's – you look at Grubb and DeBoer's history, they're a very pass-heavy offense statistically. They also had the guys to do it at Washington. You're bringing in a less experienced quarterback with 0 career starts. And Ty, are you able to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game with Ty right away? I think is one question. And I think they want to run the ball more than people think. That's been a theme for Ryan Grubb. You just mentioned it again this week. He said the running game is going to determine how far we go this season. So it's not just the running backs. And I think there's questions about the running backs, as I mentioned before, but it's also the tight end room. I think how well does that tight end room block in the running game is a storyline when you lose 2 very good blockers in C.J. Dupree and Robbie Utes to the draft, and you don't really know what that's going to look like. Josh Cuevas is one of those guys, and who's the other? The offensive line, like I said, at guard, you're trying to figure out, what does that look like? So the running game and how much they run and how effectively they can run, I think is a bigger storyline than people think. But obviously everybody wants to see the passing game take a huge step and be more effective and be more just prolific in general than what it was last year with Jalen.
Mike Rodak from Batman 247 joins us here on Three Man Front as we kind of take a preview at this Alabama football team as they get ready to take on Florida State. Many times when you look at a team's schedule, you might identify a couple of games, maybe mid-season, and say, you know what, that is a trap game, or that's the definition of a trap game. With Alabama going to Florida State and so many questions, especially at the quarterback position for Alabama breaking in a new one, and Florida State having a new offense and defensive coordinator, would you consider this game against Florida State a trap game?
Trap game, no, but interesting game, yes. I think for me, like I'll define trap game as something coming off a bigger game. And in this case, it's your first game, so I think the focus has been on this game, which is a positive for Alabama. Obviously, Vandy last year was your trap game coming off of the Georgia game. You have Vandy again coming off the Georgia game this year. If that's a trap game, like something's wrong. Like if players don't get the message going to the Vandy game this year, that would be an issue. To me, it's the game after the Vandy game, which is going to Missouri, sleepy little Columbia, Missouri, 11 a.m. kickoff. That game would scare me a little bit in October, second weekend in October. But Florida State also poses problems because you don't know what you're looking at. You don't know what Gus Malzahn's offense looks like at Florida State. You don't know what Tommy Castellanos looks like with the Florida State players around him. You do have tape of him with Gus at UCF. You don't know what the defense looks like. So there's the newness factor there, and I think there's enough continuity with Alabama that Florida State probably is a better idea of what Alabama could do. Granted, the change in quarterback, but the crowd's going to be into it. We'll have to see what the weather's like. It's not an easy game by any means, and I think that's sort of reflected in the spread, which is still around 13. That's not even I might put it closer to 10 personally. It's a game that Alabama should win, but it's not an automatic game by any means.
Wow. Can you imagine if not only they don't cover, but they lose? what your website and what this radio show is going to experience on that Monday afterwards on Labor Day? That would be something else.
I think we'll hit our August numbers.
Well, we might hit the rest of the year numbers there, Mike, depending on what happens.
No, it was a big October for us last year. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, your Paramount bosses and our bosses in New York at Cumulus, they might be, might be a little something extra in the old stocking if that happens.
But I'll say this too. I was telling Conrad before it came on. It also does feel like the Wisconsin game last year, where you went into it, you're like, man, this crowd might be tough. This might be a tough game, and then Van Dyke in that case goes down quickly, and that game was over before it really started. So it could be like that too. I mean, it's a possibility, but personally, I think it's probably going to be an actual game that stretches into the second half.
Mike, did you remember that Emmanuel Henderson was playing at Kansas now?
I did, because their special teams coach actually mentioned him. Alabama's special teams coach mentioned him in a video interview and said that he was the best gunner in the SEC last year on punt coverage.
All right, so be honest. Until you heard that, did you remember that he played at Kansas?
Vaguely,
Mike,
vaguely.
come on, Mike.
I like to take pride in being a nerd.
You can't bowl
about
two
some
bowlers.
of the portal stuff, in some of the depth chart stuff, and some of the roster stuff. Like that's my wheelhouse.
Well, major kudos. Then.
So I will say, I knew that.
Well, we did not remember.
No, we didn't. I came across his name and I was like, wait a second.
And how about this,
Kansas?
Mike? In the process, I'm looking at the depth charts and I just scroll down to the defensive side, and there's a kid that Pat coached in Little League that transferred from Texas starting at defensive end.
Yeah, Justice Finkley. Yeah, isn't that something?
I've heard that name.
Yeah, he's at Kansas. He played at Hewitt-Trussville, and he went to Texas for 2 years, and now he's at Kansas.
That sums up the transfer portal.
Yeah.
That'll make you feel young.
Oh, tell me about it. Big time. All right, Mike, enjoy your final weekend. You got a honey-do list this weekend? What are you doing? Painting the house? Doing yard work? What are you doing?
I just finished mowing the lawn, and I came inside to take this call. I'm going to go back outside and start blowing.
What kind of grass you got?
Zoysia.
I do
good.
too.
I'm also a grass nerd. So
watch that thatch, though. I'm sure you do, but watch that thatch.
Yeah, it's relatively new, so it hasn't developed too much thatch yet, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Hey, hit it with a little bit of that 10-10-10. Georgia loves it.
Okay.
See? You grass nerds.
Yeah, I'm a grass nerd too.
All right, Mike. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
You got it, guys.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks. That's Mike Rodak. Joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Our friends at Prize Picks. Yes, Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. You can join millions of users. Sign up today. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could win cash, and you can win up to 2,000 times your money. It's really simple. You're going to download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WJOX. $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even have to win. How about this? We're going to go college ranks, Conrad. College foosball. Coming up tomorrow. Got a couple of player projections.
Oh, I thought you were talking about there's a big foosball tournament tonight.
I don't know if they offer. I don't think Prize Picks offers foosball. Let's go Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson. They're in Dublin. All right. .5 passing yards. Over more or less than 200.5?
I've been doing my research for Bet It or Forget It. He threw for 240 last year against Iowa State, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So we're going more for Avery Johnson because he did it last year. He's going to do it again tomorrow.
All right, we're going to see if you know. We'll go more there. E.J. Warner, Kurt's son. I saw him when he played UAB. He was a quarterback at Temple. He is now at Fresno. E.J. Warner, 184.5 passing yards tomorrow. More or less?
I would go more for him as well. I don't think Kansas defensively is great. So, yeah, we'll go more for Kurt Warner Jr.
All right. If those guys go more on their player projections, me and Conrad are a winner. You can be a winner as well. Prize Picks, run your game. We are 13 minutes away from the first installment of the college football season of Bet It or Forget It. The reigning champion, she is primping right now, about to go and put on her tiara, her championship tiara. We got to keep Molly from winning. Better to Forget It at 12:30. We continue the Friday edition of Three Man Front.
We're just 9 minutes away. Bet it or forget it. Week 0. It was really quiet during the commercial break. I had to go to my office. Not a word was said. Everybody's doing their last minute cramming. They want to get out of the gate quick. They want to get a couple wins under their belt. Conrad's in there going over some bogus Vegas insider account I saw him on. Molly's over here on Vision.com trying to figure some stuff out. Landrum's cool as a cucumber over there. He's just kind of double checking some stats, some numbers. But
Just double checking, making sure all the numbers are right.
Yeah.
All my kids' coursework, they're in. Everybody's eligible.
Yep.
Why do you get to be the one that's cool, calm, and collected?
Because he has been. I mean, I've been sitting here watching him.
He looks pretty frazzled to me.
He's
I
prepared.
agree.
He's ready.
Conrad.
If this is me frazzled, then call me frazzled.
I think they just did.
He was coming in here giving me a pep talk like 30 minutes ago.
I know. Just trying to encourage
Just trying to
you.
get in your head.
I'm trying
I know.
I'm trying to encourage you more.
And then Molly's coming in here throwing all these stats around to try to get me to sway my picks.
I am.
I don't know what to make of it.
Is that what you were doing?
No, we were just talking about how fun of a slate this is.
Don't you take my stat.
I'm not.
Don't.
Whoa,
not.
whoa, whoa. Do we have some, whoa. We have some insider trading going on here?
Time out.
Well, if you guys would look at the social media that I post, you would know what he said.
What'd you post?
Your prediction.
Oh.
For farm
Oh,
betting.
that.
I was there
oh,
for it.
that,
I don't have to go back and watch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That seemed a little weird.
It did.
Okay.
But it's cool. It is what it is.
No, there's no conversation.
It's on social media if you want to go watch it.
If you listen to one of the angles that I always have when I talk about games, especially in the MAC, I was just referring to a specific weather condition.
Yeah, I haven't checked the barometric pressure yet. Need to do that.
See if that low formed in the the North Atlantic.
Yeah.
That could affect what's going on in Dublin. Just saying.
I was thinking you were talking about Bowling Green.
I was talking about Dublin.
I was looking at weather there.
Well, you can look at weather there too.
Well, need to.
Yeah.
We got a game there.
So the College Sports Commission, it was announced this morning that they're going to release data each month on deals beginning in September. So they're going to be transparent. Maybe the College Football Playoff Committee will take note.
Are these their enhanced metrics, Pat?
Possibly. High school recruits will be required to submit previous deals when they enroll in school. Check out this number. Between June the 11th and August the 20th, more than 5,100 NIL deals have been cleared by the College Sports Commission. The deals have ranged between $600 and $1.5 million. Pretty amazing. So from June 11th to August 20th, 5,100 NIL deals have been cleared by the College Sports Commission, and it ranges anywhere between $600 and $1.5 million. That is amazing. That much money. Does that surprise you? That 1.5 million is the highest?
I mean, I guess not now, even though we know some players are making more money than that, but I guess some of that goes into you probably have multiple NIL deals when we're talking about the guys making $3+ million. But yeah, I don't know. Who is that? The Texas Tech, one of their recruits that got the 1.5 million probably?
Probably. But it's interesting that the high schoolers, and you'll be able to see this report starting in September.
So is that where, do we think that's where because what did it say on the low end, $600?
Yes.
Do we think that's where that's coming from?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I figured.
Yep. So that will be made to the open public coming up. We can see that we got some text messages. We have not gone to the mini texts today. So let's do that here at 205-834-9450.
Bama Hater says, Pat, are you going to allow me to participate in you guys' pick'em contest?
It's not me allowing anything. It's just the members of the show. You can play along at home, and you can.
Is he talking about
I think he's talking about
the pool?
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about the pool?
Yeah, I'm looking for my email. I need to make sure that I'm.
We're not doing that until next week, right?
Yeah, it won't start till next
Yeah.
week.
Okay, so I got time.
I still need to pay you.
If Bama Hater would like to be a part of that, he is absolutely welcome.
remember
to
the
be a part.
email.
I
Did
thought he
you-
was talking about bet it or forget it.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the pool.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the football pool. Better
Oh.
forget it'd be tough.
Oh, football pool house, sure. Absolutely.
Did you email that link like you typically do, or did you text it to me?
He texted it to us a
He
while
might
ago.
have texted.
It's
Okay.
been a while ago.
All right. That's good. I was going through my email and I saw one from you. It's better to forget it week 1. And it was Georgia
Last year.
13.5 over Clemson.
Well, since there was only because it was only a few games
Yeah,
this
that's
week.
fine.
That's why I didn't.
No, this is
send you the
fun.
list.
I like doing this week 0 tune up. And it's one more week that Conrad will have to catch up.
Thank you, Landrum.
Hey, Bama Hater, if I don't see you Tuesday, we'll get you the information if you would like to participate. More the merrier. Landrum, I just sent it back to you.
Oh, thank you.
I just sent it back to Molly too, because
Thank
Molly
you.
hadn't signed up.
This
I sent it to
one,
Conrad too.
a meme, interesting, comparing Nick Saban and Kalen DeBoer, and then they use the old Cracker Barrel logo and the new Cracker Barrel logo.
Yeah, people are mad about the Cracker, which I will say it's a horrible decision by Cracker Barrel. I don't know why they're doing this, but
When was the last time you had Cracker Barrel?
a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I love Cracker Barrel.
I never go there anymore, but
Well,
it's
there's
always
not one close to you though.
No, it's good. I'll tell you what I love from Cracker Barrel, and I got the reverse engineered recipe, is their hash brown casserole. That's a hit.
When was the last time you had Cracker Barrel?
Couldn't tell you.
Was it a secret?
No, I just don't know.
You are missing out.
It's probably been years.
I will
It's
never say
probably been about a
anything
month or
foul
so
about
for me.
Cracker Barrel. I love Cracker Barrel. But have y'all seen what they've done to the interior of a lot of these Cracker Barrels
Oh,
now?
it's horrible.
It's awful. Taking all the character out of it.
Keller, our buddy, he was there last night. He says, Pat, sorry for interrupting you last night, but at least now my wife knows that you and Pat McAfee are two different people. Great seeing you. Yeah, Keller and his wife is outstanding, very, very nice. They're just great people, but we were glad to see them and so many others as well.
Yeah, I told Keller that too bad I don't have Pat McAfee's bank account.
If you'd worn a tank top last night, you would have looked a little more like him.
You don't have his kicking leg either,
Yeah, I know.
but you have more couth.
Thank you.
I would say in public settings, for the most part, you have more manners.
Had a couple people ask me about the golf course you're designing in my backyard.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I had 3 different listeners that said, "Well, I guess so. If you can afford to have a moat, you can afford to have." And it was in reference to you. And I played it up. I said, "Yeah, he's an elitist. He does this for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't need a job. Just tries to stay busy."
Nope. All goes to the 501c.
Don't want to get into that particular text today. This one reads, for the near future, it looks like Texas, Georgia, and Alabama are the top 3 in the SEC. And Alabama, 3 every year games will not be against either one of the other top 2. Why was little Nick so scared? As Pat said yesterday, this could have been started 2 years ago. Alabama beats Tennessee and Auburn all the time. Can't predict the future.
And one thing's for sure, the metric that I put out on social media, it was pretty cool. This morning, 680 The Fan, they had my tweet pulled up and they were going over the teams that I had posted. And that information was based on 2 years ago on the data that, we had access to. Now it's going to be completely different now because that data 2 years ago was going back 10 years. So are they going to look at data 12 years or the last 10 years? Because it definitely is going to change because Tennessee has been more improved the last few years.
Going back to Justice Finkley, Trustful Zone, now playing at Kansas. He was voted one of the team's captains for the season.
At Kansas?
Yeah.
Oh, good for Justice. He is a very soft-spoken, but he's just a really great kid.
Jason says, so I missed it. Which bandwagon did Dabian jump on last night? Ole Miss.
Hottie toddy.
Justin says, guys, just wanted you to know I had a great time last night. Enjoyed meeting you all. Won tickets to Hardy, too. Appreciate y'all. Going to try to make it out on a Tuesday soon. Justin, it was great to meet you, man. Thank you. Greg says, SEC 9 game equals what's the Big Ten going to gripe about now? Well, now they're griping about the college football playoff potential format.
Yeah, they want 72 teams. Actually, I think it was 26, but.
Drake says, wish I could have been with you guys for the party. I was a little bit under the weather. I'll catch up next year, Drake. Hope you feel better. It was great to meet you in person last year at the kickoff. This one rolls in. Morning, guys. Enjoyed the kickoff party last night. This is Burr's brother. Way to go, Pat, for taking a stand against the Joker, Mr. Rapoli. At this point, I don't believe anything he says, and kind of has that same slick talk that Art Williams of the Barracuda had right before they left town.
Oh, my goodness. Art Williams. Yep. He was a salesman. He didn't have the New York twang like Mr. Rapoli has, but, man, Art Williams, he could spin it. He had everybody thinking that Birmingham was going to be the next NFL franchise out of the Canadian Football League.
He closes with best show in town, 3-man front. Thank you so much. Tim says, just no context here. No Conrad scared like the little girl he is. I have no idea.
Oh,
what that's.
wow.
Wow.
That was.
Yeah, Tim doesn't like me for some reason.
You guys didn't talk last
What's
night?
not to like? No.
Oh, so this is real.
Oh, yeah, this dude does not like me. Go look at his text. He's not a fan of me.
And it bothers you. So, Tim, please keep texting.
No, he's just an Auburn fan. I don't think he likes that I'm an Alabama fan, and that's fine.
All right, we will continue with your text
Boy, he
messages.
does not.
But coming up next on the show, we will have our first edition as Molly's getting nervous.
Good to see you last night, Tim. I talked to Tim for 10 minutes. I had no idea.
We'll do better to forget it next on 3-Man Front. Who's ready to win some money?
Come on. Big stacks. Let's go.
Stacks.
Let's go.
Money.
Molly Robinson won last year's Bet It or Forget It crown.
Still can't believe it.
Did you finish above 500?
Yes.
Like
and it's
one game?
because in the playoff, I went on like a 10-0 run. Like I wasn't supposed to win, and then the college football playoff really helped me out.
Oh, okay. All right, what we do, we pick 5 games a week, and since there's really only 5 games that's going on tomorrow,
Let's do them all, Pat.
We're going to do 100% of the games
Every single one of them?
that's going to be played tomorrow. So this is what we call this little game, Bet It or Forget It.
The following is for entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised.
3-man fronts. Bet it or forget it.
Oh, it's that time. Week 0. We start things off in my homeland,
Trustful.
Ireland.
Oh.
I wish they were playing it Trustful. It'd be a good game.
I'd go to that one.
Kansas State and Iowa State, they are renewing their rivalry across the Atlantic Ocean in the game we know as Farmageddon. Kansas State is a 3-point favorite. Over-under is 51.5. The Wildcats are 3-1 against the spread as an underdog under their head coach. Kansas State returns 51 letter winners, the most they've had since 2003. They actually have 8 super seniors on their team. Matt Campbell, as an underdog, is 47-22 against the spread all time. The Cyclones, as we remember, they're coming off an 11-win season, and that's the most in the 133 years of Iowa State football. So let's start with the defending national Bet It or Forget It champion, Molly Robinson.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Will you bet it or forget it? You going to forget it?
Of course I'm going to bet it. I'm not like Conrad. I'd never forget it. And this is not a shock. If you've been a frequent Bet It or Forget It listener and you know what I like to pick. And for this game, I'm actually going to take the under. I'm avoiding the spread because of that stat that you just gave about Matt Campbell.
Yeah, 47-22.
And I think that this will be like a 4-point game, either a 24-20 game, depending on who wins. But the reason why I like the under is because obviously this game is in a foreign land. It is in Ireland. So, you still could have some jet lag. You could be a little tired. And plus, we're kicking off with conference play. And at first I was like, well, these are 2 Big 12 teams with aspirations of winning the conference. I want to see some offense. But then I was like, nope. It's in Ireland. The barometric pressure is all out of whack, and it might rain. I'm taking the under.
Molly, very shockingly, takes the under. Landrum, how about you?
I wish you wouldn't have gone first.
I did go first.
I said I wish you wouldn't have gone first.
Oh.
Because now
Matt Campbell
copied.
just got a contract extension.
He did.
The curse of the contract extension, especially before the next game, it usually never goes well. But some of the other things that she laid out, I will not repeat. I agree with Molly. I think this game is going under the number of 51?
51.5.
51.5.
Well, I'll be a real man and I'll pick a team since somebody's going to have to win this game tomorrow. And Pat laid it out pretty well. Kansas State, a senior leading team. I know Rocco Beck, very nice quarterback for Iowa State. Avery Johnson, in my opinion, a little bit better. I know Iowa State got the better of Kansas State last year, but at least offensively speaking, Kansas State had a really, really good showing in that game for the most part. And so I think that carries over to this year. They're a more experienced team. I think Kansas State is going to be in contention for the Big 12 championship, unlike Iowa State at the end of the year. So I'm going to go Kansas State in a close one. I think it's a one-possession game, but I like Kansas State minus the 3.
Okay, so we're going to do the hook there. So we're going to do 3.5. Is that a problem for you? Because we're not doing
I'll go Kansas State. Yeah,
we're not doing
pushes.
What a great way. I'm so glad you said that. A great way for Conrad to start.
God, I can't wait for Kansas State to win by 3 points. All right.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great.
Well, you could have taken the under like your partners.
No.
All right, here we go. Sam Houston versus Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers minus 9.5, 60.5. That is the point total. Western Kentucky's new quarterback, Maverick McIver,
Yes!
is a transfer.
The pride of Abilene Christian.
That's right. He tossed for over 8,000 yards and 63 touchdowns. Sam Houston went 7-6 against the spread last year. Let's start with Landrum. I think I got an idea where he's going here. Western Kentucky or Sam Houston?
Phil Longo is now the coach at Sam Houston, if anybody forgot. He's breaking into a new quarterback as well. Sam Houston is replacing everything on the defensive side of the ball. Western Kentucky, if they can somehow tackle someone on a running play this year, that would be fantastic. I'll go with Wimp. Western Kentucky, toppers at home, minus the 10.
How about you, Conrad?
Yeah, I'm right there with Landrum. I liked Wimp's pick earlier in the show as well. I think they might have a chance to have their best quarterback they've had since Bailey Zappi was there, and we remember how good he was. But yeah, McIver threw for almost 4,000 yards last year, 30 touchdowns. I think that's going to translate well to a Western Kentucky team that we know loves to throw the football. And like Landrum brought up, new head coach for Sam Houston State, replacing a lot of guys. They had a good season last year, but I like Western Kentucky and their quarterback to get it done at home, minus the 10.5.
Molly?
Dang it. I think we're all going to take the same thing because I also have Western Kentucky covering. Now, I know that they also don't return a lot of their skill players, but, I mean, Sam Houston, it's a clean slate. So I'm also taking the Hilltoppers.
All right, next game. Fresno is at Kansas. The Jayhawks, 13.5-point favorite. 50.5 is the point total. Fresno is replacing 67% of its offensive production and 60% of its defensive production. Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels is back for his senior campaign. He has started 33 games for the Kansas Jayhawks. And Hewitt Trustful's Justice Finkley is the team captain for Kansas. Let's start with Conrad.
Mush.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I'll be honest, I'm banking this 100% on Jalen Daniels and him being healthy because we saw what Kansas was able to do late in the year last year where they were able to knock off Iowa State, BYU, and Colorado back-to-back weeks. That looked like the Kansas team I thought we were going to get last year. With Jalen Daniels healthy, at least to start the season, I like Kansas big. I love Lance Leipold, what he's done with that program. I think Jalen Daniels, one of the very best quarterbacks in the country when healthy, and Fresno State just not great right now. So, yeah, I like Kansas to cover 13.5.
How about you, Molly?
See, I also like Kansas in this one because Fresno State, they have a new head coach who's Matt Entz, who if you watch any FCS football, you know that he was the North Dakota State head coach for all those years, won 2 national titles, but you're in the FBS now. This is different. And plus, Kansas, this is their first game in their brand new stadium. I'm taking the Jayhawks.
All right, you got the Hawks. How about you, Landrum?
This is the David Booth Family Appreciation Game. New stadium, new digs. Jayhawks going to show their appreciation. I like them big in this game.
All right, next game, UNLV and Idaho State. The Bengals are coming to Sin City. UNLV and the Dan Mullen era will start. They're a 26.5-point favorite. 65.5 is the point total. The Rebels last played the Bengals back in 2022 and beat them by 32 points. So let's start with Molly.
Oh, please don't let me down, Dan Mullen. But I'm actually taking UNLV in this one. Obviously, when you look at the history books, but we did see that Dan Mullen is going to want to utilize both of his quarterbacks. So I expect UNLV to score often, and I really don't expect Idaho State to really. That's why I'm staying away from the over/under. Also, the Rebels, they are 22-5 in a streak right now of a cover streak in their non-conference games. So, please don't let me down, Dan Mullen, but I'm taking UNLV in the points.
All right.
Even though it's a lot.
How about you, Conrad?
Yeah, this one's tricky. I'll be honest. This is the toughest one. There's a part of me that wanted to roll with Brett Norsworthy, whose bold prediction yesterday was Idaho State to cover the 26.5. I think UNLV is going to win this one handily, but I just don't feel like Idaho State is the first game of a season. UNLV is a significantly better team. I think they'll put up a good number of points, but I don't know that I can expect Idaho State to do the same. So I'm actually going to take the under in this game. So I'm going to go under 65.5.
You remember Alex Orji, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quarterback for UNLV. Mm-hmm. You knew who's playing in the slot for UNLV? Joe Earl.
Oh. Good for him.
With all of that being said, I will take Idaho State with Mr. Norsworthy.
Oh, we all picked different. That's good.
All right. Final game. Stanford is visiting Hawaii. It's the first time since 2000 that an ACC team has played in the island state. Hawaii is a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 49.5. Frank Reich, he is the interim head coach of the Stanford Cardinal. If you think back last year, Hawaii hosted UCLA and lost 16-13. Timmy Chang, who is the head man for the Rainbow Warriors, he has gone 15-7 against the spread when he plays at home. Chang has cashed 6 straight times as a home underdog. And one other stat for you, Hawaii is 11-2 against the spread in season opening games against FBS opponents. So let's start with Landrum.
Ain't nothing but a thing when we're talking about Timmy Chang. Give me Hawaii. They're in that athletic complex. You don't ever want to go and line up on a Saturday play there. The only luck with the Cardinal will be Andrew, who will be traveling in that party. It's going to go bad. Give me the Rainbow Warrior Wahine.
Conrad.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't watch a lot of Stanford or Hawaii football unless it's in the background or late at night, and it's just something to have on the television. But a lot of people, everyone seems to be going on Hawaii now. I know Stanford, a lot of people expect them to be really, really bad this year. I don't think they're going to be great, but everyone's picking Hawaii, so I'm going to go Stanford. I think Stanford covers and gets the win, so I'll take Stanford plus 2.5.
I'm taking Hawaii. When you're Stanford and you've lost to like a Sacramento State and a San Jose State in the past couple of years, I'm sticking with the Rainbow Warriors.
All right, that is the first edition of Bet It or Forget It for this week. A lot of different games. Somebody is going to potentially take a nice lead based on all the different picks. So it
or a nice lump.
That's right. So much so. Coming up at 1 o'clock, we'll talk high school football with Kyle Parmalee. This is Jox on a Football Friday. That was fun. The first edition of Bet It or Forget It. Best of luck for all the participants.
I got my adrenaline going a little bit.
Yeah, I saw you over there on your that account in which you can wager $1 now and again. So you got the fever now.
Still got that money in that account.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's good.
3 years running now.
That's really good.
Yep.
That you have not had to make a deposit.
Nope.
That's strong.
Just let it ride. That original $20 still sitting there.
That's good. Get back to school in a new GMC from Courtesy GMC in Trussville. You'll find the lowest prices in the Southeast at Courtesy GMC. And right now, you can get these amazing deals. How about on the GMC Sierra 1500, up to $17,000 off a brand new truck. Sierra 2500 HD, get up to $13,000 off this powerful heavy-duty pickup. Yukon XL, save up to $5,000 on these top-performing SUVs. The 2026 Acadias, they have arrived. I drive the Acadia AT4. I love this off-road oriented trim level. The AT4 is designed for drivers who want a balance of rugged capability and, of course, premium comfort. Every new GMC comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty for long-lasting peace of mind. Go by and see them this weekend. Drew Lawley, Josh Gargis, and the fantastic team. They're at Courtesy GMC, located in Trussville, right off of I-459, exit 32. You're not going to find a better deal on a brand new GMC anywhere in the Southeast. They're in Trussville. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com.
I was just telling Conrad and Molly in the break. Now, after the exercise of the Justice Finkley and now the JoJo Earl is playing at UNLV, that's just going to be a fun exercise. Just randomly go and click on a team, go through their depth chart, and see how many names you recognize.
That's something.
And UNLV got some dudes out of the portal now.
And Mike, how about Mike Rodak like bowing up on us and flexing?
I don't like that. I don't like it.
You didn't like that?
Didn't like it at all. It's week 0, Mike.
We got a long year.
We're on edge.
That's right.
I do love that he's a grass nerd.
How about that? He was doing his honeydew. He came inside to do the interview, and then he's back out hard at it.
I bet he's not on a 0 turn like you. That's the thing. If we took our passion for grass and your landscape and your mower, we'd have the perfect combination.
Would be.
You just like to go fast.
I do.
You don't like to take your time, every little blade. It's like to zoom through it, don't you?
Now I got leaves falling. Now I got to get a new attachment.
You ought to drive that thing from your house to the stadium tonight. Put two long flags on it.
I could get there pretty quick.
You could.
All right, Kyle Parmalee is going to join us next. Toss high school football week 0 next. It is 1 o'clock on this Football Friday. Man, it's been a great show. Hope you have been able to tune in. Some of the headlines, it appears the Birmingham Stallions is not going anywhere. In an interview this morning with Mac and Cube, Mike Rodak, the billionaire co-owner of the UFL, he says that the Birmingham Stallions will be playing in Birmingham come March of 2026. So that is great news as that crisis has been averted.
We're going to call that the Giddy re-up?
Yeah, Giddy re-up. So Skip Holtz will have an opportunity. Jamar Smith on social media this morning, he announced that he has re-signed with the Birmingham Stallions. So this will be the fourth year that he has been a Birmingham Stallion. We also been discussing the SEC moving to 9 conference games. We had Wimp Sanderson's Blue Plate. He likes Western Kentucky and the 10 points. Talked a little Braves with Barrett Sallee. John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears, gave us a preview of Auburn. Mike Rodak of Bama 247. We just had Better to Forget It as defending champion Molly Robinson tries to defend her crown. And now we go to the next man up on the batting lineup, and that is Kyle Parmalee from Starnes Media, who was in our studio just a couple days ago. Kyle, are you ready for tonight and for the next 3 months?
Yeah, I put out a post last week. I think it's like the next 16 Friday nights. I know where I'll be, so don't have to worry about the pressure of making plans. They've already been made, so let's do it.
That's crazy. Well, that's nice, and I hope that I get to participate in those 16 weeks, because if so, then that means that the season has gone pretty well, if that's the case.
We would love to see the Huskies make a run this fall.
That would be really good. Okay, so let's start with the game that you're going to be at tonight, and that is going to be Oak Mountain as the Eagles take on Briarwood Christian. What can you give us a little preview of this game tonight?
Yeah, this is a good little county rivalry. Their schools are about 5 minutes away from each other, and it's always a good litmus test for both teams. Even, when you say a 7A team in Oak Mountain taking on a 5A team in Briarwood, you kind of think mismatch, but it doesn't really play out that way. It's usually a pretty physical, low-scoring game between these two, and on the Briarwood side, if they hang with Oak Mountain, it gives them confidence that, hey, we can play with a 7A team. That kind of sets them off on the right foot to get into the meat of their schedule this season. On the Oak Mountain side, there's a lot of that pressure of, well, this is a rivalry for us. They're a 5A team. We expect to beat them, and they want to, put a good foot forward to feel like they can be competitive in some of these 7A Region 3 games today. So, tonight you're looking at you've got standout, prospects on both teams. Briarwood's got defensive lineman Garrett Witherington. He committed to Kentucky a couple months ago. And on the Oak Mountain side, you've got a do-it-all defensive back / receiver Jaden Aparicio, who is entering his junior year. This guy, he's one to watch this year. He's rising up the charts real quick. I think he's going to end up being one of the state's top prospects in the very near future in that 2027 class.
All right, next game, the Battle of Lakeshore. John Carroll taking on Homewood tonight, 7 o'clock, Waldrop Stadium. Homewood has won the last 9 in the series. John Carroll trying to rebound from a disappointing 3-7 season. Meanwhile, Homewood got a talented quarterback, and I think there's a lot of optimism there on the Homewood campus heading into the season, Kyle, right?
Yeah, there is a lot of optimism. I've kind of labeled Homewood one of those teams that I've pegged to make a pretty big run this fall. If Caleb Carson plays anywhere near the way he did at the end of the season last year at quarterback for Homewood, the sky's the limit for this Patriots team. And on the John Carroll side, you mentioned the 3-7 last fall. John Carroll hasn't been a perennial playoff team in the last 20 years or so, but if you think back 2 years ago, this team won 9 games, had a phenomenal year. And head coach Will Merrill wants that to be more of the norm for his team, and he's done a good job in his handful of years as head coach for John Carroll. But it's a really important game for both sides because, at Waldrop Stadium tonight where Homewood plays, if you over the tree line is John Carroll's campus, so you can, the stadium and the schools are right next to each other, so a lot of familiarity, and I think Homewood has the edge here, but. It'd be really positive if John Carroll can compete well tonight and kind of get the season started on the right foot for them.
The game that Landrum will be departing for in the not-so-distant future, he is heading north to Sparkman as the Spain Park Jags, who went 12-1 last season, had a great season. They're taking on a Sparkman team that went 5-5. What's your feelings on this one tonight?
Sparkman is the ultimate 5-5 team. I think they've gone 5-5 the last 3 years, and it's gonna be cool to see Spain Park make the trip up there tonight. You know, got to give Tim Vakakis a lot of credit. Even with Spain Park moving down to 6A a few years ago, he has not shied away from putting 7A teams on that schedule. They've got three 7A teams on the schedule this year, and starting tonight they'll go play Sparkman. I expect Spain Park to win this one. They ran away with it last year, but this is a big start for the Spain Park team because, you know, they had such a great year last year, and the question is, can they back that up? You know, we all know about quarterback Brock Bradley, but the supporting cast, there's a lot of question marks because there's some guys that are going to have to step into some voids and we just aren't sure what they've got yet. You know, just from my perspective of covering Vakakis' programs the last several years, I'd bet that they were able to fill those holes and be a really, really good team once again. And a convincing win against the 7A foe tonight would go a long way to getting off to a positive start.
We talked about it a little bit when you joined us in studio earlier this week. Vestavia, they have scheduled tough once again. They get west side of South Carolina, a team that I'm just looking, and I had not looked at this prior to this segment for that particular program. They got a ton of prospects. It's going to be another tough opener. Coach Evans and the Rebels. But other than that, what do you see in the matchup and maybe the outlook for Vestavia this season?
It's so interesting because we just don't really know what to expect. You know, you mentioned all the prospects that Westside has, but with out-of-state teams, we just don't really know a whole lot about them. You know, Alabama teams have played teams from Georgia plenty over the last several years. So when you hear a team go play Grayson or Gainesville like Moody did last night, you kind of have a little bit of an idea of what those results mean. But I have no idea what we're getting into. This Westside team was the runner-up in their 4A class in South Carolina last fall, but I just really don't know what to expect. Like, if Vestavia wins big, I don't know if that's super impressive or if it's just like, hey, they should have done that based on the matchup level on the field. So I really don't know how we're going to feel. I guess we're just going to have to trust Coach Robert Evans after the game that he gives us kind of his insight. You know, obviously he's broken down this West Side team pretty significantly. But, you know, on the Rebels side, quarterback Charlie Taff is back. He got so much better from game 1 to game 10 last year, and I really expect him to have a huge year for Vestavia. They got some playmaking roles that are left to be decided, but you know, I think this Rebels squad is a playoff contender in Region 3 once again for sure.
Let me ask you about this game, Clay Chalkville and Hueytown. So Clay Chalkville last year, they go 9-3. Hueytown 9-4. This is a really good Week 1 matchup between these two teams. Very, very good teams. Two really good programs.
It really is. I mean, Greg Patterson has done such a great job at Hueytown. If you remember, 2021, this was the state championship matchup, and you know, Clay Chalkville won that thriller. I think they were combined almost 90 points in that game, and Clay Chalkville was able to hang on and win the state championship. But yeah, Hueytown hasn't fallen off any. Clay Chalkville hasn't fallen off any in recent years. So I don't really know what to expect tonight. I imagine both of these teams are really, you know, kind of top 10 caliber 6A teams, and it just kind of feels like over the summer this Clay Chalkville team has got that chip on its shoulder to prove that, you know, going 9-3 and getting to the second round of the playoffs sounds great for most programs, but with what Clay has done the last decade plus, like, that's not where they want to be. They expect to be one of those final teams left standing and competing for a state championship. And with, you know, quarterback Aaron Fry, his second full year as the starter, you get a guy like Corey Barber to transfer in at wideout to give them just a super explosive playmaker. And, you know, there's a couple of young wideouts on that Clay Chalkville roster that people may not know their names now, but they will by the end of the year. So this Clay Chalkville offense, I think, is going to take a step forward, and the defense has been rock solid the last several years. So I'm expecting big things from the Cougars this fall.
Kyle, a game that Conrad's going to be a part of, Mountain Brook hosting Demopolis. I'm guessing this is still true, but Demopolis in the offseason, they hired a Hall of Fame coach from the state of Mississippi, a guy that's got over 300 wins. He's in the Mississippi Hall of Fame. He decided he was going to be the interim. Is that still the case with Coach Ricky Woods?
Ricky Woods is there, and I had not even, realized this when I was kind of researching on the game. Demopolis has made the playoffs 29 years in a row. And that is, even in 4 and 5A, that is super impressive. That is the ultimate consistency and steadiness from that program. And they make the playoffs every single year. They're winning double-digit games a lot of the time. So all that to say, I do expect Mountain Brook to take care of business. They'll be the better team in this matchup. And we all know how Mountain Brook loves to play football. They love to establish the line of scrimmage. They love to run the ball, play good defense. You've got Stuart Andrews back in the backfield for Mountain Brook, and he had such a great year last year, 1,800 yards on the ground. He was unbelievable. He's back for his senior year, and I expect Mountain Brook to win this one. And they're just such a standard of consistency, that Mountain Brook program as well. So that's what I expect to see from them.
Kyle Parmalee joins us each and every Friday talking a little high school football as we get everything kicked off tonight. He's with Stearns Media, and also pick up Under the Lights at your local retailers because, man, it is a fantastic way to get your high school football season started. Let me ask you about Hoover and IMG. That game's going to be on ESPN2 tonight at 8 o'clock. And it's one of about a handful of games that you can actually wager on if you're not in the state of Alabama. Hoover is a 32.5-point underdog to IMG Academy tonight.
The varsity team?
Yes, the varsity. Hoover finished 10-3 last year, advanced to the semifinals in the largest classification in the state of Alabama. Needless to say, IMG, everybody's familiar with that juggernaut down in Tampa Bay. What can you tell us, not so much about tonight's game, but just about this Hoover team going into the 2025 season?
The thing that I find the most interesting about this matchup is that when Hoover has played IMG in previous years, it's always been at the very end of the year, which at that point, in week 11, Hoover is just trying to get their starters to play 2 quarters, sit them down, rest up for the playoffs. And so these games haven't really been close. And yeah, like you said, 32.5-point dog is, that seems a little heavy to me, but that's kind of what this game is. Hoover obviously wants to go out on national TV and put forth a great showing. But the program that IMG runs, they're going to be by far the most talented team on the field every game that they play. But I do think this Hoover team is stacked on the defensive side of the ball. They've got guys all over the place that are going to play Division I and Power 5 football. And I am super excited to see what that unit does throughout the year. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, Hoover last year struggled to get consistent quarterback play. And, even so much so that they had Jonah Winston back there at times during the season. Well, they want Jonah Winston to have the ball in his hands as much as possible out, as a wide receiver, as a running back, all the different ways, because he's such an impactful guy. But what I want to see from Hoover is how that quarterback position shakes out, and if they find the guy that is ready to step in and kind of be that leader, that signal caller that can really elevate Hoover to some really high places this year.
One more game I want to ask you about. Chelsea, they got off to a terrific start last year. They struggled in the back half, and it was a tough back half of the schedule, but they open up with Charles Henderson. What's your outlook for tonight, but also a little preview for the Hornets in 2025?
Yeah, I think Chelsea should win this game pretty convincingly. That's what I see on paper anyways. And you mentioned Chelsea starting 6-0 last year was such a good thing for the program. They've struggled a lot in recent years trying to, they had that blip in 7A and that was way too much, and getting back to 6A, having a 6-0 start, that was so cool to see. But yeah, the schedule, stiffened up on them and it just it snowballed. But the thing that I've loved hearing from head coach Todd Cassidy is, he knew better than to get, way over the top when they went 6-0, but also he wasn't just down and out about how the season ended last year. He saw so many signs of progress for his program. He's got his running back. Chase Malone, this guy was, he was a one-man wrecking crew last year, 1,600 yards, had a huge year. He's back. And the thing to watch is there's another guy in the backfield with him, Morgan Barnes, that was hurt almost the whole year last year. And Chelsea really likes him too. So if both of these guys can kind of get off track and get rolling, This Chelsea running attack should be really good. They got an experienced O-line. So I think Chelsea is in great position to hopefully, get back to the playoffs in that region in Class 6A, and tonight will be a good starting point for that.
And you can follow Kyle on Twitter. You can also follow Starnes Media on social media and also on all the publications that Starnes Media has on their websites for all the very latest on most of these games that we talked about tonight. Kyle, enjoy week 1. We look forward to recapping everything that went on and a preview of week 2 next Friday. Have a good weekend.
Sounds great. You guys enjoy it tonight as well.
Thanks. That's Kyle Parmalee joining us on the Higginbotham hotline. All of our guests join us on that hotline because, you deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. We roll along on this Football Friday on Jox.
$120. Appreciate Kyle Parmalee giving us the high school football rundown. Some teams getting started last night. A lot of teams in action tonight. Warm weather. We'll have the heat timeouts like we typically do early in the high school football season. Speaking of the heat, that means bugs, biting kind, stinging kind. You want to protect your home, you want to protect your family, or your place of business with our friends at Stark Exterminators. Stark has been family-owned for over 61 years. That's who the Roberts family trust at our home. That's who you should trust at your home as well. You can call today for the free home or business pest inspection by simply calling 855-STARK now or going to starkexterminators.com. When you do so, you set up that appointment. One of their professional team members will come to your home or your place of business, inspect it thoroughly inside and out, come up with a detailed plan on how to attack any existing issues or look for any issues that could come up down the road. It's Stark Exterminators. Call for the free home or business pest inspection today. 855-STARK now or go to starkexterminators.com. And always, when you do so, tell them Landrum from Jox sent you.
So Auburn will have its final scrimmage of the fall camp, which will be coming up tonight. It will be basically a dress rehearsal of what they're going to experience next Friday night in Waco, Texas. If you missed our interview with John Morris, the voice of the Baylor Bears, go download the 3 Man Front podcast and take a listen to what he had to say about this upcoming season for Baylor. And they're very excited about Auburn folks coming to Waco. And he said that it has been unseasonably, when I say cool in Texas, that's still about 96 or 97 degrees. But
he said it was below 97 or 98.
And that's huge. That's huge. Take it from someone that lived in the state of Texas. I mean, we didn't have the humidity that we have here in Birmingham. Hot is hot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if it's 97, it's still hot.
Hot's hot.
But it's like you said, that probably means it's 95 degrees, not 97 or 98 degrees.
When you
still going to be hot.
But what was the stat he gave us? Is this the first ever SEC team?
It's the first SEC team to play in the stadium that's been in existence for 11 years. But it's the first time these two teams have matched up since early 70s, Auburn and Baylor.
That's crazy.
It is wild. Need more of those matchups. Maybe we're going to get less of these kind of matchups because we got a 9-game conference schedule. But I'm 04. I will trade that.
I've not been inside the stadium. I've been by the stadium. And it's impressive because it's right on the Brazos River. I think Auburn people will have a good time.
It looks real pretty.
In Waco.
Go see the Bear on campus.
Oh, you got to go to
Mi casita.
I almost asked him about
That's
it.
right.
Because
the Scott Drew booth.
The final question, I asked him, I said, hey, so what's some things that Auburn people could do if they want to go out there a couple days early? And I was tempted because he said, man, we got some great Mexican restaurants out here. I was like, yeah.
You got one in particular.
Mi casita.
Okay, I'm totally going to change the tone of this conversation, but it's going to be specific to Waco. I would be curious if I had some extra time. I know it's a horrible thing that happened.
Yeah, I knew he was going here.
It was a horrible thing that happened, but can you, I guess you can, is that closed off?
I think the whole thing's been like.
No, I know that. Well, I mean, I watched.
Well, I know you watched it on
But like, is there a
television.
memorial or something that you can visit? Yeah.
Or just pass it by. I don't know. Okay.
I knew you were going there.
Of course you did. Well, I mean, it's fair. I think if you're going,
I wasn't criticizing you. I just knew you were going to go there.
You're going there, and I'm thinking, well, how much else is there to do if you got some downtime? Hey, Corey, how are you?
How's it going, Landon? Happy football season.
Happy football season.
I'm here to talk about my Golden Gophers tonight. You know, the Erie-Town Golden Gophers. The rivalry between Clay Chalk and Erie-Town, it has not been great. Trust me, I've been to every single last one of the meetings, and it has not been good.
Are you talking about gets a little feisty?
Well, no, I'm just saying, the results on the field, on the scoreboard, has not been great. And, hopefully tonight the Golden Gophers beat the Clay Chalkville Cougars tonight, hopefully. Erie-Town has not beaten Clay Chalkville yet in the last 6 meetings. So I'm hoping that my alma mater gets it done tonight. I can't wait to see how this goes, how this game's going to turn out. And another thing, Pat, be careful how you use that word juggernaut when you refer to a high school football program. Please stop. Just don't do it.
Which team did I mention was a juggernaut? Which one?
IMG Academy. IMG Academy.
Oh, well, I mean, they are. I mean, they're tough.
What about those schools over there in California? What was the one of the Mater Day High School? I believe?
Mater Day. That's another good one.
Yeah. De La Salle.
Yeah, Duncan. How about Duncanville, Texas? How about those? How about that team out there in Texas?
There's plenty in the state of Texas. Yep. And of course, IMG's a little bit different than everybody else because obviously it's
a factory. It's a laboratory.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So it's not quite like those ones that you just mentioned, Corey. They kind of stand out.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Oh, I'll also, before I go, I have my I Ain't Scared college football predictions.
Love it. Give it to us.
All right, I got a few predictions. Texas will miss the college football playoff this year.
Okay.
Ohio State will win the Big Ten. South Carolina will win the SEC.
Ooh. Okay.
UFL will make it to a bowl game.
Very nice.
And Jacksonville State will win Conference USA.
I love that. Those are great.
Oh, yeah. Alabama will miss the playoffs. Auburn will make the playoffs.
You going bold?
That is bold. Very bold.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my I Ain't Scared predictions.
That's good. That's good. Corey, good stuff.
Corey,
hey, thanks
thank you.
for the call.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm looking at IMG right now at their prospects. Oh, my goodness. You got a 5-star offensive tackle committed to USC, 4-star edge committed to Oklahoma, 4-star safety committed to Georgia, interior offensive lineman committed to USC, another one committed to North Carolina, and another one committed to Florida.
They're good.
That's just 6 of their guys.
They're good. And that doesn't factor in the, sophomores and freshmen that are probably going to end up at a lot of those same schools.
32 and a half. That's the number.
That's the number in Las Vegas.
I mean, that makes me think, do you remember the Bishop Sycamore thing a few years ago, that whole situation? That's what that kind of number reminds me of. Like, I understand if Hoover and IMG are on different level, but I mean, Hoover's a very good football team.
Very, very good team.
What IMG? What do they promote? You're going to get specialized training if you're going to go to the next level. They kind of fine tune you. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they go in there.
I know that robots. Academics is supposed to be involved. What does that look like? Is that
the
online stuff?
Weight training?
Yeah.
They're going to learn physics in the weight room, Landrum. They're going to stay in there for 8 hours a day. And then they're going to go to sleep in a cryo chamber, and then they're going to crack them out on Friday, go out on the field, hurt some people, and then go back in the cryo chamber. And it's worked out very well for them.
Very much so.
So you're telling me that they're going to maybe be challenged socially once they get to college?
I don't know. I'm sure they have a pretty good social life down there.
Do they
what does NIL look like at IMG? Is that a thing there?
Is IMG co-ed?
I think it is.
I think they have women's athletic programs too.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they do the same thing with basketball. Like that's where Cooper Flagg went to high school, I believe. Yeah, they're pumping out the athletes. Wonder how much it costs to send your kid there. I can only imagine.
It's funny now because I'm starting to read some stories about some of these schools that have deals with SEC teams moving forward. And now that the SEC has moved to 9 conference games, we're starting to get a lot of people saber rattling. And the UCF athletics director, they've got a series with Florida. And so he was asked for a comment in regards to future series with the Gators. And will that be in jeopardy, perhaps, since the SEC is now going to 9 conference games? Because you know the game that the Florida Gators are going to keep in non-conference will be Florida State.
Of course,
it's not going to be Central Florida. And so he is saying that any canceling of future games without a prior approval from us will be a pricey one. And you wonder why people don't want to schedule certain teams.
This must be ultimatum week.
I just Googled this. I thought y'all would be interested because this just blew my mind. Guess how much it costs if you want your kid to go to IMG Academy and they're going to live there like on the campus because it's boarding school. How much do you think it costs for 1 year?
1 year?
$55,000.
I'm going to go $85,000.
$90,000. It's only $71,000 if they don't require on-campus housing.
Yeah, but
that's more than college.
If you want your kid to go there, what if they want your kid to go there?
Well, then maybe it's a little different. But I'm like, that's more than college. That's crazy. College is expensive.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, when we come back, we'll do some Pat Ponders. We are less than 24 hours away from the start of the college football season. This is Jox on a Football Friday. It is 1:34 on this Football Friday. Before we get to Pat Ponders, I was not familiar. Are you guys familiar with a book that is coming out soon called American Kings, a biography of the quarterback by ESPN writer Seth Wickersham? Are you familiar with that?
Hadn't heard of that one.
Okay, so apparently this book, I'm just going to read what it's on the website. It goes deep into the quarterback journey, measuring the distance between what the men who have traveled it expected and what they found at the end of the road. Unprecedented access to the lives of dozens of quarterbacks. Johnny Unitas, John Elway, Peyton Manning, Warren Moon, Steve Young, and others, as well as those figures striving to be remembered like Caleb Williams and Arch Manning. So I was reading a tweet a couple of moments ago from Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio. And he put out on Twitter, it's a screen grab of a section of Seth Wickersham's book. And I'm just going to read it. And it has to do with Arch Manning. Nobody knew where Arch Manning wanted to go to school. Some in the family preferred Georgia, where head coach Kirby Smart would coach him hard. Others, Alabama. The problem for Alabama was that Nick Saban, whom the Crimson Tide assistants affectionately called Daddy, was getting up there in years, and nobody knew how long he would be there. Texas kept lingering. Competition was so fierce that everything was fair game. It was public record that Steve Sarkisian had battled alcoholism, a disease that nearly cost him his career. Sark had rebuilt his life and work in recovery. But during one Zoom call with Arch, Golding, which we're referring to Pete Golding, was discussing Alabama schematics and culture, and then he went there. This is a direct quote from the book. "I love Sark," Golden said. "He's my friend." He paused. "I hope he can stay sober." After the Zoom call ended, Stewart called Golding. "Pete, that's effed up." Golding knew he had no choice. Quoting Golding, "Daddy's on me," end of quote. So according to this book, it's detailing some of the recruiting of Arch Manning. And when Pete Golding was at Alabama, he was referencing that perhaps Nick Saban was putting pressure on him.
Hey, just make sure you throw out.
You can't tell me that's the first time that's been used against Steve Sarkisian in recruiting. That would be
no,
one
it's
of the
not. But it's the fact that
Nick Saban maybe is pressuring someone to do that,
and just it's in black and white.
No, that's why he was the GOAT. He got results.
Goodness,
because I'm sure Pete Golding. Look, he had a misstep. Right?
Absolutely.
He probably was really reluctant to go there, but was forced to.
So that is an excerpt.
Was this QB Kings?
American Kings.
American Kings.
A biography of the quarterback. It is coming out September the 9th.
Well, you might have just hooked me with that.
So apparently there's going to be a whole section in there on Arch's recruitment, and it was interesting that...
Will that be offered on tape?
Some of the family wanted him to go to Georgia. Others in the family wanted him to go to Alabama.
But Arch wanted to go to Texas.
Want to hang out with Matthew McConaughey.
If they offer the audiobook version of that will be my podcast for the fall with my earbud in as I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
So interesting stuff. All right, let's do some Pat Ponders, brought to you each and every day by our good friends out at Courtesy GMC and Trustful.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Goodbye and see Josh Gargis, Drew Lally, Tommy Rowan, the great people there at Courtesy GMC and Trustful, or visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. Question number 1. If you had to pick a college football team to root for, and it's a non-Power 4 team, and the team is not residing in the state of Alabama, who are you rooting for?
I got to go Louisiana Monroe. My buddy Bryant Vincent, got Cam Blankenship, earned a star. A lot of those cats, either from UAB and then prior to UAB, my friendship with Bryant. I'll go ULM, Warhawks.
Oh, I'm going out there. I'm going Sacramento State. I love what they have done. It's going to be very fascinating to see how it works out, but they have a lot of really talented dudes who have maybe not made the best choices in their life, and it'll be very interesting to see how it works out.
Does that count, though? Is that you said non?
I just said non-power four.
You didn't
so,
say
yeah,
they had to
technically,
be
yeah.
Sac State, baby.
Sac State.
Molly?
I'm going to say Western Carolina because my grandfather was from Cullowhee, and he was a diehard Catamount.
Okay.
Hear that, Coach Hatch?
Yep. Well, she couldn't pick an in-state school. So.
I know.
I can, yeah. I was thinking Sanford, though, until you said that.
Question number 2. Yesterday, Ole Miss launched another different helmet for 2025. Florida and Nebraska will debut alternate helmets as well for this upcoming season. So where do you personally stand on alternate helmets?
If it's a good look, break them out. I love a new look. I know people are weird about it with certain programs, but yeah, if you're going to do it nowadays, I've just gotten so accustomed to it. We've seen Oregon do it, a different one every week for how long?
Long time.
I think it actually kind of adds to it. I'm a helmet geek, so I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I like the alternate stuff. It's just like in, the NFL, like I love the color rush jerseys. Now, granted, some of the MLB ones,
Sure,
but at least in football speaking, I love when they mix up the uniforms. And every now and then you get one where you're like, that's not a great look. But generally speaking, I would say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times. It's something unique. It's for 1 week. It gives the fan base something to get excited about. So I like it.
I like them. I think they're fun. Do something different for once.
And that I think the Ole Miss one is sharp. That new one they just came out with.
Yeah, it's a good looking helmet.
I really like that.
I was reading a story earlier this week that Middle Tennessee State that had an alternate helmet. I think they had a chrome and a white helmet. Mm-hmm. Because of cost, they got rid of the alternate helmet, and it's going to save them almost $700,000.
Wow.
On their football budget.
I saw that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're gonna kick that back into NIL.
Yep.
Which probably a smart decision.
Program like that where you can cut money, yeah. If you're Oregon, you're not worried about it. If you're Ole Miss, you're not worried about it.
No. No, because I think Ole Miss is also tied into one of their major corporate sponsors. That's the is it Realtree? Is that who it is?
Oh yeah, the hunting company.
So.
The hunting company in Mississippi. Yeah, they give a lot of money to the NIL.
Well, there you go.
For the Rebel
that's
Grove.
where Juice. I think they hooked Kiffin up with Juice's. Whatever. We're family bloodline.
I was about to say, is he a hunting dog?
I think his family was.
Or family's hunting dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, champion hunting dogs. I think maybe not. Maybe they were all party animals like Deuce or Juice.
All right, next question. So, Alabama wide receiver Ryan Williams blessed his teammates with Beats by Dre headphones. He became one, I think, of 9 college football players.
Yeah, I saw a
signed
bunch
deals.
of teams doing that.
Yeah, so he gave his teammates these headphones. If you were on the team and you were given a pair of those headphones, would you use them, keep them for posterity, or sell them? Based on your own personal, whether you listen to music and use headphones and et cetera. That's what I'm referring to.
I would use them. I'm just frugal when it comes to certain things, and I've just never wanted to. I bought my wife some, but never bought them for myself, but I would absolutely use them.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, I would use them. I prefer like the AirPods. I don't like the over-the-ear earbuds as much, which is what the Beats are. So, I mean, I would use them some, but I just like using my AirPods. But I would 100% keep them because I saw with all the schools, the box that they come in has the school's logo and branding and all that. It's, you're not going to be able to buy that anywhere. So, yeah, I would probably keep it safe. I'd use them every now and then, but I'd mainly keep it for a
posterity
memento.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely use them because imagine you're walking into the stadium, you got your sunglasses on, you got your headphones on, you're locked in. It's a cool look. And plus, I have a pair of Beats, but they're well over 10 years old. And I prefer over-the-head headphones to my AirPods because my old little like silicone things you have to put in them broke. And I have to use the larger ones, but I have really small ears. So the AirPods tend to hurt my ears more now. So I prefer the over-the-head.
Okay.
It's
personally.
good. It's good, too, when you get into the colder months and you're doing play-by-play in the elements or sideline. That
Keeps
keep
you
your
warm.
ears
Keeps you warm.
Yeah.
Question number 4. This week in 1987, the movie Dirty Dancing opened in theaters.
No.
Give a
one's
rough
baby in the
estimate
corner.
how many times in your lifetime you have seen the movie Dirty Dancing.
300 and I've seen it at least 5 times. My sister used to always want to watch it when I was a kid. I'd say at least 5 times. Full start to finish.
I have never seen that movie.
What?
Oh, Conrad, a movie
Oh,
feature coming up
no.
next summer.
You have to watch
Never
Dirty
seen
Dancing.
that. Is that Kevin Bacon?
No, that would be
Or
Patrick
Patrick
Swayze.
Swayze.
Patrick Swayze, Jeffrey Gray.
I'm sure it's fine.
The movie in the title, it says dirty, and you haven't watched it.
Surprisingly, no, I have not.
Shocking.
I'll have to get on it.
It's really not that dirty.
Oh, well, then I don't want to watch it.
How many
At
times did you say?
least 20 probably.
20?
I love that movie. My mom and I always say no one puts baby in the corner.
It's got to be at least 10 times for me.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because when it came out, the group in high school, we would hang out with a bunch of cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And
Of course.
that's what they.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
You want to
Okay.
watch? You want to watch Days of Our Lives?
Sure.
Sure.
Yes.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The things you do.
Do
Is
you
there a
want
lot
to
of singing and stuff in that movie? or
Oh
is it-
yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
ugh.
But
It's
like
not
it's not
not
a musical.
No.
No.
No. Actually, the soundtrack is.
That's
The
great.
They got
soundtrack
some
is
great music.
amazing.
You ought to come. Yeah.
What?
I was going to say you ought to come back with that song, but we have the other one that plays.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you and Damien can watch it together next
Maybe so.
next summer.
Yeah, maybe so.
All right, we're going to finish the week on this high note. Which of these do you like to smell more?
Ooh, this is good.
I'm scared.
A new car,
Okay.
new shoes, a new can of tennis balls.
Oh,
Oh, that's a good
tough.
one. That's
This
a
is
good
tough.
one.
The only thing you could have added in there as a fourth would have been gasoline or
I thought he was going to say
I thought you were gonna
gasoline.
say
Because
gasoline.
I love the smell of gasoline. It smells
gasoline
so
or
good.
new tires.
Gasoline smells so good.
The answer though for me is new car.
Yeah.
Smell of a new car. There's nothing better than the smell of a new car. I love a smell of fresh tennis shoes, but a new car, man.
My only thing with and I know this doesn't factor into the smell, but when you crack open the tennis balls and it it's
Yeah.
almost like a soda.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I get excited every time. I love the smell of tennis balls. Yeah, tennis balls all the
I
way.
get excited.
I love the smell of a new car.
New car.
Oh, but tennis balls is a close second.
I talked to somebody the other day, and I forget who it was. They said their wife hates the smell of a new car. Hates it. Yep. Said that they have to go and like mask the smell when they
To
buy
put
a
air
car.
freshener in a new car?
In a new car. I love the smell of a new car.
That's the biggest compliment because when I've been able to purchase a new car and maybe somebody getting my car about a year later
And it still has that
and
smell.
they go, "Man, your car still smells like it's a new car." And I'm like, "Oh, well, take that as a
Yeah.
compliment."
And you have the sprays that they try to say new car.
it
It is
doesn't,
nowhere close. There's no way you can replicate that smell.
No, so to replicate the smell, what you need to do is you need to go to Courtesy GMC this weekend and buy you a brand new car. And it's going to be a great car, but it's going to smell great.
There you go.
So go by and see them off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville.
I've actually asked people when they bought new. Can I just
hang out in your
Smell
car?
it.
Can I just smell it?
Okay, this is really random too, but this is whenever people like, what are weird smells you like? Because gasoline is one I always bring up. All right, there is a particular sandwich chain that was famous for having $5 sandwiches for a long time that are no longer $5. When you walk in there, that smell of all the ingredients together,
Yeah.
oh, I want a candle of it.
Yep.
I don't like eating there a lot, but I just want to go inside and smell it.
From the bread
Yeah, it smells
to the
so
toppings
good.
and how it all kind of comes together.
Yes.
It's very similar when you walk into a good pizza place.
Yeah, it just
But that smell, you're right.
It smells so good, and then you eat it, and you're like,
Eh.
It's not bad. It's
No,
not bad. It's
Steak and cheese used to be the go-to for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, we will wrap up the week as we roll on this Football Friday on Jox. Had a great time last night at the Jox kickoff party. Had a few people ask me about my Artec tractor that I got from Artec Tractor there in Jasper, just north of Jasper on Highway 5. ArtecTractor.com, that's the website. I love it. It's been a game changer for me, and it can be a game changer for you, whether it's a Toro, Cub Cadet, Gravely, Bobcat, Spartan. How about a tractor, Mahindra, Bobcat? A knowledgeable sales department. They're going to advise you on your purchase. The service department is outstanding, years of experience. They can work on all types of mowers and tractors, large selection of used heavy equipment. And right now at Artec Tractor in Jasper, they're having a sale on all their fluids and filters now until the end of September. This is on oil filters and air filters, also all engine oil and hydraulic oil. That is 15% off all of those items. So get by and see Jeremy, Gregg, and all the great guys there at Artec Tractor, just north of Jasper on Highway 5. Visit them online at artectractor.com. Landry, we were having a question. Somebody had texted in because I was referring to the Ole Miss helmet. I believe they were in a partnership with Realtree, and we had someone that had asked a question about that, and we did get clarification on that.
Yes, Mossy Oak Camo is in Mississippi. If the internet is correct, that would be West Point, Mississippi. And Realtree is in Georgia. I see a home office address that goes to Columbus, Georgia. But Realtree is the helmet logo pattern that Ole Miss is using. Hope that clears it up for our friends, whoever sent that in.
Very sharp listeners.
Yes.
We appreciate that greatly. It's been a great week as we get you ready for week 0. Starts tomorrow morning from Dublin. You can hear the game right here on Jox. It should be a lot of fun this weekend with 5 games. And then when we return on Monday morning, it will be game week for the Auburn Tigers. They'll be kicking off on Friday night in Waco. Bama will be on Saturday in Tallahassee. We will hear from both Hugh Freeze and Kalen DeBoer on Monday, as that will be part of our weekly feature each and every week as you get an opportunity to listen to their weekly press conferences as we get ready for week 1.
You do anything special as the game's going to be featured there in the motherland for you?
Probably eat some potatoes.
Yeah. 4 different ways?
Yes, and drink Guinness with a straw.
I got the Guinness pretzel pieces. Oh, yeah. They're money. Molly likes them, too. All right, that's going to do it for us. We appreciate it. Enjoy all the high school games tonight, all the week 0 action, all 5 games tomorrow. Monday, it is officially week 1, game week. Have a safe weekend. We appreciate you doing it. We couldn't do it without you. God is great. Have a safe and happy weekend.